Chapter 1026. Xiang Feng's expression was so vivid that the netizens started another round of merciless ridicule. Ha ha ha, Xiang Feng is so pitiful, the most transparent and domineering CEO in history. Xiang Feng's grandfather and Madame Xiang despised him, his sister pulled his ear, and his nephew forced him to climb up a tree. I suggest everyone post #XiangFeng is too hard hashtag on the public chat. Xiang Wan had hired several photographers, and each of them was at the level of a top fashion magazine's photographer. They could even take a group photo with them. The Xiang family was so good-looking that they looked good in all the photos. Everyone had their photos taken individually, and they had also taken a group photo, and so on. Okay, next is the group photo. Miss Xiang, why don't you stand in the middle? The netizens also felt that given Xiang Wan's status, she was the most suitable person to stand in the center. Out of everyone's expectations, Xiang Wan flipped her curly hair. She had always been sharp-tongued, but today her tone was exceptionally gentle. Xiang, you should be the one standing in the middle. That had always been a tradition of the Xiang family. The Xiang family would take a family photo every year. For the past 2 years, Xiang Yi had been standing behind Xiang Feng's grandfather, Madame Xiang. When Xiang Yi was a child, Xiang Feng's grandfather, Madame Xiang, would hold her in his arms for the photo. The photographer was secretly surprised, but he remained calm on the surface. Let's get started then. Let's take a traditional photo first, and then a more interesting one later. Okay? The shutters clicked, and the netizens in front of the screen were also frantically taking screenshots. The screen was filled with good-looking men and women who were comparable to the top celebrities in the entertainment industry. The fans who were obsessed with good looks were about to faint. Every frame could be used as the cover of a magazine. In particular, Xiang Yi, who was in the middle of the crowd, was young, but her facial features were gradually maturing, and she vaguely had the aura of a great beauty. This family is so good-looking. Xiang Feng's grandfather, Madame Xiang, was also super good-looking. Yes, Sister Yi's parents are probably very good-looking too. Damn, don't look at their photos. Someone on the live stream claims to be Xiang Yi's parents. The news was so shocking that countless netizens immediately downloaded the Ocean Live app. The account, Father E and Mother E, was ranked first on the number of viewers. Although they were new streamers, the two of them already had more than 1 million fans. The number of viewers in their live broadcast room had also reached a terrifying number of millions. The netizens clicked on it out of curiosity and were shocked. This middle-aged couple looked 70% similar to Xiang Yi. What was going on? Could they really be Sister Yi's parents? The two of them chatted casually with the netizens. When they saw more and more people in the live broadcast room, they suddenly cleared their throats. Today, we're doing this live stream mainly to expose one thing. The man who called himself Father E sat up straight and said, "Actually, Xiang Yi isn't my biological daughter. She was adopted." Mother E sobbed and said, "I was blinded by greed. Because our family was too poor, I sent my poor daughter to be raised by a rich family." The live stream was in an uproar. Wasn't this too unimaginable? Some people also raised their doubts. Are you really Xiang Yi's biological parents? Do you have any evidence? The two of them came prepared, as if they had already expected this question. They took out a brown paper bag and said, "The evidence is in here, but we decided not to make it public." Chapter 1027. Yes, we thought about it. In order not to affect Xiang Yi's life in the future, we decided to bury this secret. Father E said in a pained tone. He lit up the paper bag with a lighter and burned it. The so-called evidence was reduced to ashes. The fans were dumbfounded. What kind of trick is this? Since you don't want to affect Xiang Yi, why did you start a live stream? I'm so confused. Why did you burn it just like that? How do we know if there's a piece of white paper inside? Are you guys insulting my IQ? It's obvious that you're trying to ride on my coattails. However, there were too many netizens, and it was impossible for them to come to a consensus. There were conspiracy theorists and netizens who claimed to be little detectives who started making up stories to justify themselves. First of all, these two people look a lot like Xiangyi. Are there so many people in the world who look alike? There's no way to clear that up, right? Secondly, don't you think that Xiangyi's brother is too nice to Xiangyi? Maybe he doesn't treat her as his sister at all, but as a child bride. Thirdly, the fact that they burned the evidence shows that the two of them are very close to Xiangyi. Otherwise, if they just made it public, Xiangyi wouldn't be able to continue being a rich and beautiful woman. Lastly, I want to say that Xiangyi is probably from a wealthy family just by looking at her face. There's no way she's destined to be rich and powerful. Everyone, welcome to plus XXXX fortune telling for only 200 yuan. Some radical netizens even felt that they had been deceived by Xiangyi and went to Xiangyi's Weibo and live stream to denounce her. There were also people who frantically tagged the director in charge of today's live stream and asked him to interview Xiangyi. After watching the middle-aged couple's live stream, the director was speechless. How can anyone believe such clumsy acting skills? Asking Sister E to clarify things would be an insult to Sister E. He told the staff, "There's no need for that. The innocent will know." A few nosy socialites quickly surrounded Xiangyi when she went to the buffet area. "Sister E, sorry to disturb you, but we have a question for you," Xiangyi said good-naturedly. What happened?" "Well, did you watch the live broadcast? The two of them said that they were your biological parents." Xiangyi looked at the screen and saw a pair of unfamiliar faces in the live stream. She said indifferently, "No." Various netizens began to overinterpret her expression. She's using nonchalance to cover up the turbulence in her heart. The more a liar is exposed, the angrier they will be. The more a guilty person is questioned, the calmer they will be. This was all based on psychology. 2 words, faking it. In another live stream room, after Father and Mother E received the notification, they suddenly started acting as if they had been possessed by a drama queen. Mother E covered her face and wept. "It's my fault for being useless. That's why my daughter has to lead a wandering life." Father E thumped his chest and stamped his feet. "Daughter, come back. I can't give you riches and glory, but I can still provide you with 3 meals a day. Are you coveting the Xiang family's gold, silver, and jewels and looking down on your own parents? You don't want to provide for the 2 of us when we're old? Daughter, you're being unfilial." The 2 of them cried and acted well. Some netizens who had poor judgment believed them, especially the middle-aged and elderly netizens who were sensitive to the topic of unfilial piety. They were so affected that their eyes turned red. In the buffet area, Xiang Feng, who was stuffing macarons into his mouth, turned around and cursed, "What the hell? How dare you slander our little bunny? You're trying to kill her." Xiangyi, who didn't take it seriously at all, was distracted by the menu for dinner. "Shrimp? It tastes better with steamed eggs." The socialites were dumbfounded. Chapter 10:28. Xiang Feng was stunned for a moment and was led astray by Xiangyi's train of thought. "Actually, pig's heart tastes good too. Pig's heart soup is always divine." The socialites, "Come on, why are you two talking about food?" In the live stream, I spat a mouthful of water onto the screen. I realized that Uncle Xiang really has a gift for being a comedian. He's so funny. Little muddle-headed Xiang E is so cute. "Come on, Mommy will cook shrimp and steamed eggs for you." One of the socialites deliberated over her words and said carefully, "Sister E, are these two trying to gain popularity?" Someone else said, the innocent knows they're innocent. Why bother arguing with such people? People these days are really shameless for the sake of traffic and popularity. Xiangyi nodded slightly. Thank you for the reminder. I'll deal with it as soon as possible. At this moment, the two people who were live streaming were crying even harder. Mothery said, "Oh, God, how did I give birth to such a heartless daughter? You've enjoyed all the glory, wealth, success, and fame, but you don't even acknowledge your biological parents." Father E patted her on the shoulder. "It's okay. We'll just pretend that we never had this daughter." The rational netizens felt that there were many loopholes and suggested that the two of them produce evidence. Their eyes flickered, revealing a trace of guilt. They weren't Xiangyi's biological parents. They were just two extras hired by the marketing department of Dahai Livestream. The reason why they spared no effort in acting was that Dahai Livestream had promised them a house and 100,000 yuan in cash as long as they put on such a show. In just a short while, the number of downloads of the Dahai Livestream app soared and successfully took away the traffic of Xingchen Livestream. Seeing the two of them stammering and not saying anything for a long time, more and more netizens became suspicious. "I keep feeling that there's something fishy. There's no evidence, and they even burned the so-called evidence. Whoever believes them is an idiot, even if they're her biological parents. The disgusting ones aren't Sister E, but this couple. They abandoned their daughter first, and now that she's popular, they're reuniting with her. I think they just want money." At the venue of the party, Xiangyi walked up to her brother and said a few words. The camera was a little far away this time, so they couldn't hear their conversation clearly. However, the crowd had witnessed the great demon king unleashing his aura through the screen. The overwhelming aura seemed to crush everything in the world. Countless people held their breaths, not daring to make a sound. Sanction took out his phone and dialed a number. Under the strong cheers of the audience, the director boldly moved the camera closer to the Xiang siblings. The sound recording device captured the conversation between the two. "Xiangyi, brother, if I'm really not mom and dad's biological daughter," Sanction interrupted her. "Don't make such an impossible assumption. I'm just saying." The cold and steady man was silent for a few seconds. Suddenly, he raised his hand and patted his sister's little head. "Blood ties are not the only thing that binds people together. Even if we are not related by blood, nothing will change. You will always be my only biological sister. You will always be our little rabbit." No one expected the great demon Sanction to say such words. Even Xiangyi was stunned for a few seconds. After a while, the girl sniffled and looked up at him. "Brother will always be my brother." Chapter 10:29. This heartwarming scene was very touching. However, the sound of sobbing and sniffling from the side ruined the atmosphere. "Tutu, come give me a hug. I'll always be your uncle too. And Chin Chin, you'll always be my nephew too." Sanction moved perfectly and avoided Xiang Feng's hug. Xiang Feng blankly typed a question mark. "Am I being despised?" Xiangyi took the initiative to hug her uncle and said in a soft voice, "Uncle, don't cry. You look so ugly when you cry." "Sister Song will—" Xiangyi paused and hesitated to speak. Xiang Feng was so touched that he cried, "Tutu is still the best. You must be worried that Song Song will feel sorry for me. She's really my sweetheart. No, I'm just afraid that Sister Song will laugh too loudly when she sees you crying." Xiang Feng was speechless, thinking of how he was trapped in a tree when he was a child and Song Qiuqiu laughed hysterically with his hands on his waist. Xiang Feng felt terrible. Xiang Feng, storm cry. After comparing the two live streams, most netizens came to their senses. At first glance, it was just a farce. However, there were also a small number of stubborn netizens who believed the words of Father E and Mother E. As public figures, shouldn't filial piety be the top priority? Giving birth to a child is better than giving birth to a child. Parents giving their child life is the greatest kindness. The child must repay the kindness. I don't believe there are parents in this world who don't love their children. On the contrary, children don't know how to repay their parents. Be filial to your parents, especially Xiangyi. She's a negative example. On the internet, information often spread quickly. Many people had forgotten that what they could see was often what others wanted them to see. He didn't even know that he was being used as a tool. On the live stream, Father E and Mother E acted for a while, repeating the same lines over and over again. The netizens began to get tired of the aesthetic. Are there any more new melons? No more. The marketing department of Ocean Livestream was already prepared. They made a gesture, and the middle-aged woman who played Mother E understood. She wiped away her tears and said in a tone of despair, "Actually, I have chronic kidney failure, also known as uremia. I need a kidney transplant. The doctor said that the compatibility between family members is the highest, but I've looked around and found no suitable one. Now, my only hope is my daughter." This melodramatic plot immediately attracted the attention of many people. Her biological mother needed a kidney transplant. As her biological daughter, shouldn't she donate a kidney? This instantly became the topic of debate among the netizens in the live stream. Mother E was secretly overjoyed. According to the script, the live stream was about to end at this point. Soon, she and her husband would be able to receive the reward for the live broadcast in the ocean. The next second, in the live broadcast room, a few lines of yellow text suddenly appeared. That was the special effect when gifting gifts, but it was used as a notification. Our company has accepted Madame Xiangyi's request and will file a lawsuit against the relevant personnel who slandered Madame Xiangyi. According to our country's laws, those who slander others and the circumstances are serious will be sentenced to imprisonment of not more than 3 years, criminal detention, public surveillance, or deprivation of political rights. Above. When Father E and Mother E saw this message, they were dumbfounded. "Why are you suing us?" Father E couldn't sit still anymore. He stood up abruptly and said, "The contract didn't say anything about this." The staff wanted to stop them, but it was too late. Mother E immediately threw a tantrum. "Then we're not acting anymore. Is there anyone like you? There's no justice in this." Chapter 10:30. Whoosh! The staff of Ocean Livestream hurriedly cut off the live stream. The live stream went dark, but the netizens' comments exploded. Acting? Contract? Who did they sign the contract with? Is it Ocean Livestream? Hey, I originally thought this drama was boring, but now I'm not sleepy anymore. A senior executive of Ocean Livestream called and yelled, "Who turned off the live stream? I'm asking who turned off the live stream. What's the difference between this and a guilty conscience?" The staff member said weakly, "Then we're thieves." The senior executive was speechless. "Hurry up and get out of here." Ocean Livestream's original plan was to hire the 2 extras to act, and after attracting popularity and downloads, they would get rid of them, claiming that everything was directed by the 2 of them and had nothing to do with Ocean Livestream. As for the house and money that they had promised, of course, they couldn't fulfill that promise. However, they never expected that the lawyer would come directly to the live stream to inform them of the news. What was even more unexpected was that the 2 actors had betrayed them and betrayed them. Ocean Livestream fell into chaos, and the major departments hurriedly held meetings to discuss how to deal with public relations. Unfortunately, their public relations were far slower than the speed of the netizens' gossiping. At this moment, public opinion actually backfired. I'm laughing my head off. This should be the funniest scene in the industry. Ocean Livestream, don't show your face. It's already been uninstalled. There are thousands of live stream apps. If one doesn't work, let's switch to a smile. I'm so angry. The elders at home believed it, and even wiped their tears, but it turned out to be a scam. I'll never use any of Ocean Livestream's products again. The netizens' anger towards the two scammers and Ocean Livestream all turned into pity and love for Xiangyi. Everyone flocked to the live stream of the party. Some sent gifts, some left messages to comfort her, and most silently supported her with their actions. Those who didn't have the Xingqian live stream app went to download one. Hence, something happened that made Ocean Livestream vomit blood. The number of downloads they had attracted was less than the number of downloads after the incident. On the other hand, the number of downloads of Xingqian Livestream skyrocketed, leaving Ocean Livestream in the dust. The technical department of Xingqian Livestream even posted an emoji on Weibo, salted fish winning. Their hatred had been raised to the max. It also attracted a lot of praise from the netizens. Coincidentally, it was time for a group photo at the party. Xiangwan had never participated in any photo shoots, and Xiangyi was nowhere to be found. The socialites were fighting for the center position, and they were all fighting each other. This kind of large-scale palace scheming scene, the audience watched with relish. However, the fans were worried. Where did Sister Yi go? Xiang family cemetery. The breeze blew the daisies on the ground, and the tea in the celadon cup rippled. Xiangyi had changed into casual clothes, a white sweater and black jeans, simple and clean. She poured her parents' favorite tea on the empty space in front of the grave. The surroundings were very quiet. Other than the occasional chirping of birds, there was no other sound. The girl's slender, white, and soft fingers brushed past the black and white photo on the tombstone. Dad, Mom, are you guys doing well in the sky? Xiangyi clearly knew that there was no such thing as a soul in the world she lived in. However, he stubbornly believed that people would become stars after they died. I miss you guys a little. The girl's soft voice dissipated in the wind. Don't worry, it's only a little. Chapter 1031. The wind gently caressed the leaves, making a rustling sound, as if it was responding gently. Xiangyi rubbed her sore eyes. The corners of her eyes were red, but she didn't shed a single tear. She remembered that every time she cried when she was young, her parents would be sad. Suddenly, a warm hand appeared on the top of her head, gently and slowly rubbing her hair. Xiangyi looked up and met her second brother, Xiang Li's gaze. Brother, yes, I'm here. Xiang Li bent his knees and squatted down, keeping his distance from Xiangyi. His amber eyes were reflected behind his thin glasses. Do you want to cry? Those eyes were usually filled with data and formulas, but now there was only a gentle glow. When her brother came, Xiangyi felt her nose sting even more, but she still shook her head. Although I really want to, I can stop crying. Xiang Li was speechless for a moment. After a moment, he sighed helplessly. Our Tutu is a sensible child. But Mom and Dad will probably support Tutu's occasional willfulness. For example, you can be like Auntie, rolling your eyes when you meet someone you don't like. You can also be like little uncle, crying when you want to and laughing when you want to. Xiangyi, oh. The little girl blinked, her eyes filled with tears. Xiang Li thought for a moment and simply sat down beside her. He pointed at himself. Who am I? Xiangyi, you're my brother. Then who are you? I'm your sister. Not entirely. Xiang Li corrected her. You're my sister, Mom, and Dad's daughter, but you're also Xiangyi. Mom, Dad, and I all hope that you can live happily and live for your own happiness. Okay. He also poured a cup of hot tea in the open space and whispered, if you want to cry, you can always lean on my shoulder. Xiangyi nodded. Her eyelashes trembled and stained with water. Not far away, a familiar voice suddenly sounded. Sister, where? Why don't I see you? Ha, are you a blind monk? What kind of look is that? The bickering sounds came from Xiang Yu and Xiang Qi, looking in the direction of the sound. The two of them were like small tails following behind a tall figure. Sang Chen. The three of them walked over in the blink of an eye. I knew you guys would be here. Humph, why didn't you bring me along to see your parents? Xiang Qi muttered and squeezed his, but next to Xiang Yi. Xiang Yu was displeased. Third brother, look at how you're squeezing your sister. What do you know? Squeeze for warmth. Then I want to squeeze in too. The four of them huddled together. Then they raised their heads and looked at Xiang Chun in unison. The great demon king was expressionless. He glanced at his brothers and sisters and complained in a low voice, "Childish." In the next second, he also sat down in the only space available. The gloominess and coldness were dispelled and replaced by warmth. It really does seem quite warm. Xiang Yi said in a low voice, "It's just a little crowded. Luckily, little uncle and auntie aren't here." Suddenly, Xiang Feng sneakily poked his head out from behind a tree with a smug look on his face. "You didn't expect us to be here too, did you?" Xiang Wan, on the other hand, looked proud and arrogant. She crossed her arms and said, "We didn't follow the little bunny here." Xiang Feng wanted to squeeze in, but Xiang Wan grabbed him by the collar. "Please act like an elder. If I don't beat you up for an hour, you won't know that I'm skilled in both the pen and the sword, right?" A second ago, she was scolding Xiang Feng. In the next second, Xiang Wan's tone changed into a spring breeze. "Little Tutu, cry if you want. There are so many of us here. We'll all help you catch your tears." Chapter 1032. The corners of the Xiang brothers' mouths twitched. As soon as Auntie opened her mouth, it was as if she was an old couple. Xiang Feng, on the other hand, was confused. Why did she always pull his ear whenever she didn't like it? Little Xiang Yi couldn't even bear to scold him, let alone pull his ear. Xiang Yi laughed at Annie's coaxing, and small dimples appeared on her cheeks. I won't cry any more." She had been holding it in before, but now she was sincere, because she had the best family in the world. Seeing the little girl's smile through her tears, Xiang Wan breathed a sigh of relief. She was almost about to perform the traditional act of violently beating up Xiang Feng to coax the little rabbit. "Since you're here, you guys talk to Mom and Dad. I'll take Feng Feng to the orchard in front to see if the dates are ripe." Xiang Feng instinctively trembled. "Sis, why don't you go alone? I also have a lot to say to Big Brother and Big Sister." Xiang Wan shot him a glare, and Xiang Feng immediately changed his words. "1,000 words, but they don't need to be said. Accompanying Big Sister is the most important thing." The silhouettes of the siblings gradually disappeared into the distance. The Xiang siblings were silent for a while. Xiang Yu took off his cap, revealing his handsome face. "I'll go first." He took a deep breath, then slowly exhaled. He repeated it several times, then said in a low voice, "Mom and Dad, when I was young, you always encouraged me when I played games. Now that I've made some achievements in esports, I'll work harder in the future. I'll also take good care of little sister. I swear in the name of Big Brother." With that, he turned his face away. His eyes were red under his thick eyelashes. Xiang Qi rubbed his head, messing up Xiang Yu's slightly long hair. The latter gave him a look of disdain. Xiang Qi stared at the photo on the tombstone. "Next, it's my turn. When I used to play with the sewing machine and make clothes for little sister's doll, everyone said I was strange, sissy, and not like a man. Only you guys praised me as a genius. Actually, I was secretly happy for a long time. It was you guys who gave me the courage to do what I love. Leave little sister to me." Xiang Qi patted his chest. "I'll make her little dresses for the rest of her life." Xiang Li chimed in from the side. "Dad, Mom, I'm sorry for making you worry about my health when I was young. You were troubled by my inability to make friends. You were troubled by my studies. Now that I have some achievements in the medical field, I don't have to worry about food and clothing. You don't have to worry about me. I am a firm atheist, but I still believe that you have turned into stars and are still protecting us. Hearing this, Xiangyi felt a lump in her throat. She continued to pull weeds to cover up her loss of control. Songchen's speech was concise and powerful. I will protect my brothers and sisters for the rest of my life. Xiangyi couldn't hold it in any longer. Her tears fell onto the stone floor. Mom, Dad, I've encountered a lot of bad things in the past year. But I also met a very, very good person. I participated in a variety show, made new friends, and was lucky enough to have fans. Moreover, I also met someone I've liked for a long time. I'm glad that he likes me too. His name is Shui. In the future, I will work hard to live a good life. I will also work hard to make Big Brother, Grandpa, Grandma, Little Uncle, and Auntie happy. Mom, Dad, you guys have to be happy in heaven too. I love you guys. The sun was warm, and the wind was gentle. The leaves and grass swayed with the wind, as if responding silently. Everything was very beautiful. Next introduction, the wedding. Chapter 1033. Sweetheart, let's go through the schedule. We'll do a magazine cover shoot with Shi Ingdi at 10 in the morning. After that, we'll do an interview for about half an hour. After that, we'll record a short video for the New Year event. In the van, Anan chattered on and on, clutching the schedule tightly. His palms were sweaty. The beautiful Xiangyi said helplessly, Anan, why are you more nervous than me? Nan pulled a long face. Boo-hoo, sweetheart, you were too careless in the past. This is the first time you've taken on so many jobs. Besides, Mr. C isn't here today. I'm a little scared to work alone. As a small manager with no work experience, managing a popular artist like Xiangyi was too stressful. Xiangyi asked curiously, where did Mr. C go? Haven't the two of you always been inseparable? Anan replied, I think Auntie is sick. He went back home to visit her. Before he finished speaking, his phone buzzed. It was a message from Si Chuanbai. Have you eaten? I'm already at home. Nan quickly typed, is Auntie okay? Do you want to bring her to Nanchun? The medical resources here are better. I can help you contact a doctor. Si Chuanbai, it's a lie. Madam Hong is fine. She just tricked me into coming back for a blind date. Nan, then don't let Annie down. Go shopping with Annie and have afternoon tea with her friends. Give her some face if you find someone suitable. Hurry up and meet her. You can't be single forever. There was no reply for a long time. It wasn't until Nan accompanied Xiangyi into the dressing room that he received two strange messages from Mr. C. I didn't want to ask at first, although we've known each other for so long. But it's fine. Do you want me to go? Nan was baffled. Mr. C had always been a very opinionated person. He was highly efficient and made decisions swiftly and decisively. He was completely different from a procrastinator like him. Why would he come to ask for his opinion? Could it be that a ruthless work machine would be at a loss when faced with relationship problems? Nan pressed the voice button and said, Mr. C, I think you should muster up your courage and challenge yourself. I believe that with your qualifications, as long as your blind date isn't too weird, they will definitely be very satisfied with you. Mr. C, let's go. Oliver, give me, this time, Si Chuanbai replied with an ellipsis. Nan stared up and down, left and right for a long time, but he still couldn't figure out the meaning of the punctuation. He was a flunky who had poor reading comprehension since he was young. He was so worried that he scratched his head. There was only one question in his mind. Why was Mr. C like this? Good girl, can you help me take a look at what Mr. C is trying to do? Sure. Xiangyi finished reading their conversation and felt sympathy for Si Chuanbai. What's wrong? Was there some kind of mystery behind it? Or is there a hidden meaning? Xiangyi reminded him tactfully, well, just take it literally. Nan stared at him again. All of a sudden, the fog in front of him seemed to have cleared up, revealing the moon. Nan was suddenly enlightened and slapped his thigh. I got it. Xiangyi's eyes lit up. She was ready to be a couple on the spot. However, she heard Nan say confidently, like Sherlock Holmes solving a case. That's a hidden sentence. The first part of Mr. C's sentence is you're an idiot. That's too much. Chapter 1034. Xiangyi's cherry lips moved as if she wanted to say something but stopped. Have you ever thought that Mr. C actually has feelings for you? At this moment, someone knocked on the door. Teacher Xiang, I'm today's makeup artist. Is it convenient for you to come in now? It was inappropriate to talk about this topic in front of outsiders. Let's talk about it later. Please come in. The makeup artist pushed the door open and entered with a few assistants behind her. Teacher Xiang, feel free to communicate with me if you need anything. Everything we do is for today's shoot. As the makeup artist applied makeup on Xiangyi, Nan typed a few words angrily. Whatever. Humph. He admitted that he wasn't very smart and had let his family down by not being an outstanding doctor and inheriting his family's hospital. After falling out with his parents, he could only be a poor worker, but Mr. C was the person he respected and admired the most. How could he say that he was a fool? Sob, sob, sob. Si Chuanbai, who was thousands of miles away, said with an indifferent expression, if there's nothing else, I won't disturb you. His mother, Madame Hong, felt her scalp go numb. You child, how is going back to your own home a bother? Aren't you treating me like an outsider? I've said it before. I have someone I like. I've also said that no. Madame Hong's voice was shrill. That little hooligan with colorful hair? I won't allow it. I won't allow it. How can you like someone like that? How is he worthy of you? Si Chuanbai interrupted her. He has a name, Mu Nan. I fully understand and understand how you feel, but I hope you can give him the respect he deserves. This was the first time her son, who had always been taciturn and respectful to her, had contradicted her for someone else. Madame Hong froze on the spot. After a long time, she asked in a trembling voice, Do you like him that much? Why? Si Chuanbai said, There's no reason for some things. Don't be angry. Your blood pressure is going to rise soon. I'll go to the kitchen to boil some water for you. There was a water dispenser at home. How could Madame Hong not understand that he was looking for an excuse to avoid her? The bitterness in her heart gradually increased. Was she wrong? But she was doing it for her son's sake. In the kitchen, Si Chuanbai turned on the kettle and picked up his phone to send a few messages to Nan. When he saw Nan persuading him to go on a blind date, Si Chuanbai's heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. But when he saw the sentence, do whatever you want, humph, Si Chuanbai's heart felt like 10,000 fireworks had exploded. This coquettish tone, this hint of jealousy, Si Chuanbai's mind instantly went from, does little colored feather like me, to little Kai Mao likes me. Si Chuanbai edited the message and deleted it for a long time. He didn't know what to reply. Wouldn't being together be too bold this time? Would it be too subtle to reply with, I'll listen to you? After struggling for a long time, Si Chuanbai decided to consult the person with the most experience in love. He dialed Shi Sui's number. In the dressing room, the makeup artist put on Shi Sui was very light. She only touched up the shape of her eyebrows, applied lip balm, and deepened the contours and lines of her face with powder. The man's expression was lazy and his tone was casual. You mean Nan confessed to you? Are you sure? Si Chuanbai said with certainty. I'm 100% sure. Do you think I should propose to him with a diamond ring or add his name to my property deed first? Shi Sui said, I suggest you get a neurologist first. There's no charge for the following words. In addition to the wedding, the ending of the important characters will also be explained. There might also be a post-marriage chapter and a cute baby chapter. It shouldn't be too long. I'll go and sort out the follow-up first. That's all for today. Good night from the Fat on Juan. Chapter 1035. After hanging up the phone, Shi Sui shook his head helplessly at his manager. His ability to imagine. It was such a pity that he didn't become a screenwriter. Buzz, his phone rang. The man lowered his eyes and saw the words "Little Bunny" on the screen. His peach blossom eyes beamed, making the legs of the makeup artist and several assistants go soft. He pressed the answer button, and Xiang Yi's warm and soft voice came from the Bluetooth headset. Is your makeup done? Soon. Shi Sui chuckled. Is Anan with you? He went outside. Is Mr. C okay? Are you sad? Shi Sui pondered for a moment and said he probably even thought about how many tables to arrange for the wedding. I think he should be very happy. Xiang Yi was speechless. What? He's getting married. Xiang Yi said in disbelief. What's the difference between him and a scumbag? Now, Shi Sui was the one with a question mark above his head. He comforted her in a low voice. Don't worry, I'll look for you later. Shi Sui was done with his makeup and hair. He had changed into a light beige sweater with blue jeans and a pair of classic white shoes. It was a clean and refreshing outfit. When he appeared in Xiang Yi's dressing room, the staff members kept looking at him. It was a pure biological instinct that made one want to take a few more glances at a beauty. However, Shi Sui's gaze was fixed on Xiang Yi. The girl in front of the mirror was wearing a princess dress with puffy sleeves. Her hair was tied into a bun, and there were a few strands of messy curly hair beside her ears. Her pure pomelo red was full of vitality, and she looked very girly. Nan called out to everyone. Shi Sui and Sister E have prepared tea and snacks for everyone. Let's take a break first. The staff members left tactfully. Shi Sui walked to Xiang Yi. The tip of the girl's nose and chin were blushed, adding a touch of pitiful fragility. He suddenly wanted to bully his little bunny. He wanted to bully her until she cried. Very beautiful, Shi Sui said in a low voice, suppressing an inexplicable impatience. Xiang Yi, you're pretty too. Shi Sui chuckled. Tutu, why do I feel that you're being perfunctory? All right, let's get down to business first. Xiang Yi hurriedly checked the information with him and realized that both Si Chuanbai and Anan had made a mistake. Why don't I talk to Anan? Xiang Yi suggested. Hint. If I were to hint at it, the effect might not be that good. It's better to let the two of them talk about it face to face. That's true. Then we should let nature take its course. After all, Mr. C is so powerful. Yes, both of them had confidence in Si Chuanbai. As a top manager, it shouldn't be a problem for him to confess, right? The filming officially began. The style of the first set is romantic and sweet. We need Teacher Shi and Teacher Xiang to act out the feelings of a passionate couple. Oh, no, we'll just follow the way the two of you usually get along with each other. Just do it as you're comfortable. After the photographer stated his requirements, he was initially worried that the two of them wouldn't be able to achieve the feeling he wanted. Unexpectedly, in the next half an hour, he vividly experienced what it meant to show off their affection. Head-touching, lifting, strawberry kissing, pressing down on the sofa, and looking at each other. The photographer almost had tears in his eyes as he finished taking this set of photos. Shi Sui and Xiang Yi went to change into their clothes for the next day. The new assistant asked foolishly, "How does it feel to be an untimely couple?" I'm full. Chapter 1036. On the same day, the magazine's official Weibo account released a set of behind-the-scenes photos from the shoot. Although it wasn't as shocking as the photos, the excited fans still pushed the post to the top of the trending list. The first 3 photos were of the romantic and sweet style of the first set, which had tormented countless single people. The middle 3 photos were of the dark and cool style, in which Shui and Xiangyi were like walking clothes hangers, exuding an extraordinary sense of fashion in their branded clothes. The most surprising, and the one that made the fans go crazy, was the last set of photos. Xiangyi usually gave people the impression of a gentle and cute national girl, and the clothes she wore were mainly light-colored. However, in this set of photos, the girl was wearing a long black dress, which was a rare sight. Her eyeliner was slightly elongated, and her lips were a bright red color. On the retro and gorgeous sofa, Xiangyi was crossing her long legs. The red soles of her black suede high heels were exposed, which was seductive and soul-stirring. Shui was also different from his usual calm and abstinent self. His white satin shirt was exquisite, but the collar was torn open, revealing the black choker necklace on his collarbone, which made his skin look even fairer and his Adam's apple look even smoother and clearer. He was sitting on the wool carpet, looking clean and delicate. His hair was styled into disposable curls, and he looked like a little prince who had been sent to a foreign country as a hostage. This set of photos of Queen X's little prince instantly went viral on various social media platforms. I want to see this. I'll definitely buy this issue of the magazine. Xiangyi's lips are simply the color of a queen's coronation. Her aura is so strong. I've already been subdued by this beautiful girl's dress. Shui is such a contrast. No wonder he's a monster who won the Best Actor award. He doesn't feel out of place at all when he acts as a little puppy. I feel like locking him in a small dark room. I'm so perverted. You're not alone in the small dark room. I've already prepared a dog head for him in my basement. I'm the director of Nanching Mental Hospital. Hello to you guys. Ha 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 ha. I'm going to die of laughter in the comment section sooner or later. Shui and Xiangyi were both trending topics. Just the cover of the photos had already made it to several trending topics. However, the 2 of them didn't make it to the top of the trending topics this time, as the top spot was occupied by Little Uncle Xiangfeng. #Xiangfeng official announcement. The netizens saw a few words. After clicking it, they saw a Weibo post that Xiangfeng's. Xiangfeng, I'm. The accompanying picture was a bright red marriage certificate cover. It was very festive. Thanks to Xiao Po's strong influence, Xiangfeng's current popularity was no less than a second-tier celebrity. Plus, he's of stars of subs. The whole internet was gossiping. Who is Little Ant? After the interview and video of the little GPS location. Xiang S of the our little uncle and sister song, so efficient. Shui, who was beside her, glanced at it and raised her eyebrows. Should we call her little Ant then? In the villa under Xiangfeng's name. In the living room, Song Qiuqiu was holding a cup of hot tea as he looked at Xiangfeng, who was humming a song in the kitchen while cooking. We, the people, are so happy tonight. Ha! We, the people, are so happy tonight. Ha! Although they did register their marriage, weren't they in a fake marriage? Why did it feel like Xiangfeng was happier than if they were really married? Was he a fan of the atmosphere? Chapter 10:37. When Song Qiuqiu finished her 6th cup of tea, Xiangfeng finally came out of the kitchen with a few plates of dishes, or perhaps they could be called dishes. Song, this is the food I made for you. Although it's a little ugly, I tasted it just now. You won't die from eating it. Xiangfeng looked at Song Qiuqiu eagerly. Song Chochio, what kind of dark cuisine was this? She reluctantly picked up a piece with her chopsticks, but the taste that hit the depths of her soul instantly froze her in place. Xiang Feng was elated. Look, look, I told you won't die. The next second, Song Chochio ran to the bathroom and vomited. Song. After a long time, Song Chochio finally recovered and lay weakly on the sofa. Xiang Feng anxiously guarded her. I'm sorry. I saw that little Xiangyi's cooking was quite simple, so I wanted to make you a meal myself. It's okay. Song Chochio was so weak that she almost died from that mouthful of food. Let's discuss something. Don't come into the kitchen in the future, okay? That won't do. Song Chochio, I believe that as long as I practice diligently, one day I'll be able to make delicious food. Song Chochio was about to cry. Then you should eat more. In Xiang Feng's eyes, Song Chochio was looking at him with affectionate eyes, teary eyes, and secretly flirting with him. He felt like a deer in his heart had a concussion as he said affectionately, I understand your intentions. I understand all of them. Song Chochio, what the hell do you know? She took a deep breath and tried to sit up so that the conversation between the two of them could be more formal. Xiang Feng, we're in a fake marriage. I know. I've signed the premarital property notarization, the fake marriage contract, the 100 clauses of the cohabitation contract, and the divorce contract after 2 years. I've signed all of them. Quick, think if there's anything I missed. Song Chochio hesitated for a moment and asked, why aren't you angry about signing these? The two of them were childhood sweethearts. Outsiders had only seen her beautiful, sweet, and decent appearance. Only Xiang Feng had seen her when her teeth were falling out, when she hadn't washed her hair for 3 days, and when she had been constipated for so long that she had blocked the toilet bowl. She suggested a fake marriage because she had no other choice. She hadn't expected Xiang Feng to agree so readily. She was paranoid, so she made Xiang Feng sign a lot of documents. If it were another man, he would probably be angry, right? But Xiang Feng always granted her every request, without a word of complaint. Xiang Feng scratched his head. What's there to be angry about? You don't feel safe, so as a man, I should give it to you. To protect my own interests. I think this is what I should do. What's more, you're nothing. I'm already used to being bullied by my elder sister and my eldest, second, third, and youngest nephews. Song Chochio was so touched that she held back her tears. Then you don't have to deliberately put on an act, and act so happily. You even posted something on Weibo. When we get divorced in the future, you'll have to delete it. I didn't put on an act. I posted it on Weibo because I wanted to. Xiang Feng chuckled. When I think about how I'll be able to see you every day for 2 years, I'm especially happy. I'm with the person I like, even if it's a fake marriage. I'm really happy. Song Chochio was dumbfounded. You like me? Xiang Feng was also dumbfounded. You don't know. At the same time, a large number of anti-fans appeared under Shui's Weibo. Chapter 1038. Shui, Uncle Xiang is already married. What about you? Shui, Brother Tiniu's neighbor's mother-in-law's nephew's cousin, is already married. What about you? Shui, are you impotent? Shui, you're impotent. After clicking on the accounts of those anti-fans, they would discover an interesting phenomenon. They were all fans of Shui's sister, who was also Shui's fan. Countless netizens came to watch the show, and they were simply laughing their heads off in the comments section. Shui's sister was definitely the most anti-fan in the industry. 1 fan is better than 10 anti-fans. Indeed, it's true. At the same time, the fans of the couple were also worried sick. Is untimely couple getting married today? No, as long as they don't get married, they're still 1 step away from attaining a positive outcome. Hence, in the comments section, it was like a large-scale wedding urging. I'm from the Civil Affairs Bureau. I came here myself. I'm willing to be a vegetarian for the rest of my life. I just hope that untimely couple will get married on the spot. He's asking for a marriage proposal with his own blood. It'd be best if the wedding is broadcasted live. However, regardless of whether it was urging them to get married, criticizing them, or making fun of them, they all ended up in the same place. They vividly demonstrated that humans were essentially repeaters. Sure Sui is impotent. After the popularity of hashtag Xiang Yi's official announcement hashtag, those familiar words made it to the top of the hot search list again. When Si Chuanbai, who was in his hometown, saw the hot search list, the corners of his mouth twitched. Not only did he not bother to do public relations, he even sent Sure Sui a voice message. You've seen the hot search list, haven't you? Why don't you save the money you earned from removing the hot search list and buy some nourishing ingredients and herbs for you? In response, Sure Sui replied with a smiley emoji. Even Xiang Yi, who was in the bathroom, received a call from Xiang Yi's grandfather. Little Tutu, don't air your dirty laundry in public. Sure Sui isn't feeling well, and you can't treat him. Tell Grandpa. Xiang Yi felt as if she had fallen into the clouds. How is he feeling unwell? He's clearly very healthy. I get it. He's hiding it from you, right? The Prime Minister's tone was pained. Don't worry, Grandpa isn't such an unenlightened person. I'll find a nationally renowned andrologist for a consultation. I'll definitely cure Sui's illness. Xiang Yi, she seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly took a look at the hot search list. She explained for a long time, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Only then did Xiang Yi reluctantly believe that Sure Sui's impotence was just a joke made by netizens after hanging up the phone. Xiang Yi was about to change her clothes when a pair of large hands wrapped around her slender waist. The man rubbed his chin against her shoulder. What happened? Xiang Yi's ears turned red. I want to take a shower. I know. These words made Xiang Yi's face burn. She changed the topic. Well, Grandpa called me. The young girl roughly summarized the matter of Xiang Yin's misunderstanding and asked, Isn't it funny? After all, Grandpa doesn't surf the internet often. Sure Sui fiddled with her soft hair, and his handsome face was glazed by the lights in the bathroom, making him look like a refined scum. Is it funny? Of course. Before she could finish her sentence, her lips were slightly warm. Xiang Yi was stunned for a few seconds. Don't you think it's funny? It was another warm kiss. Xiang Yi didn't know what was going on. It's just very funny. This time, she was carried to the sink where her back was pressed against the mirror. Xiang Yi finally realized the danger. The man was smiling and she could feel his breath on her face. Don't you know best whether I can do it or not? Huh. He enunciated each word clearly and raised his voice at the end. Little Rabbit. Chapter 10:39. The next day, by the time Xiang Yi woke up, it was already past 10 in the morning. She rubbed her eyes sleepily, turned over lazily, and saw Sure Sui by the window. The man was flipping through a stack of scripts, and there was a cup of hot coffee beside his hand, which was still steaming. His white shirt was buttoned up to the top, and he looked refined and restrained. Little did she know that under the white shirt was the mark she had left on his slender neck last night. Thinking of some absurd and messy memories, Xiang Yi raised her hand and pulled the quilt up, trying to cover her head. Sure Sui's deep and magnetic voice sounded in the bedroom. Tutu, you're awake? Do you want to eat breakfast? Xiang Yi instinctively said, I'm not awake. Xiang Yi covered her face with the blanket in embarrassment. What kind of behavior was this? It was too embarrassing. The room was silent for a few seconds. The man walked to the bed and tucked her in. He smiled and said, Then sleep for a while more, okay, baby? After a while, the girl's muffled voice came from under the blanket. Don't call me baby. Then what do you like me to call you? Were you satisfied with the way I called you last night? Xiang Yi recalled his hoarse voice last night, his soft moans mixed with desire. His whole body was like a piece of fried, glutinous rice that was charred on the outside and tender on the inside, making sizzling sounds. I am asleep. The behavior of deceiving oneself X2. Shui pulled the blanket down a little so that the little bunny could breathe smoothly. He kissed the girl's delicate eyebrows gently. Go to sleep, baby. We'll set off when you wake up. On the internet, when the netizens woke up, they realized that the trending topic had finally changed from hashtag Shui can't hashtag to a new topic. Hashtag honeymoon variety show. Hashtag oh wow, which artiste in the industry is going on a honeymoon? Everyone clicked on it. Li Jinyuvi. After several months of preparation, the newly planned travel episode of Two Under One Roof is about to start recording. This time, it will be in the form of a short love documentary. The guests will still be Shui Xiang Yi. Beep, beep, beep. We're setting off now. Rabbit plane, what the hell? Did Xiang Yi and Shui finally have a new variety show? In the comments section, the fans were already crying tears of joy. Official dog abuse is the deadliest. Sisters, rounding it off, this is the honeymoon variety show. We must support the honeymoon trip of the two newlyweds. Son, tell me which website you posted the video on. I'm going to become a member. Director Lee is best at beautiful and sweet styles. Director Youthful Heart plus top popularity plus stunning beauty. This is simply the strongest idol drama team in the country. How can I deserve this? Woo-woo. Half a month later, the first episode of the travel episode of Two Under One Roof was released on Xingchen Video. Before the broadcast, some netizens were pessimistic, saying that Li Jianyu, Shui, and Xiang Yi were too eager to make use of Two Under One Roof to make money and were treating their fans like sheep. However, the day the video was released, it gave everyone a slap in the face. This time, there was no need to become a member of the variety show. It was free to stream. The entire internet was in an uproar. The netizens who were pessimistic were dumbfounded. What's going on? Is this a charity? However, after clicking on the video, everyone realized that it was indeed a short documentary. Each episode was only about half an hour long, which was much shorter than the duration of a typical variety show. Hence, something that made countless variety show directors in the industry jealous happened. A large number of netizens protested. Please become a member. Please increase the duration. Chapter 1040. There were also many people who directly went to the online customer service of Xingchen Video and asked frowny face, why don't I need a membership for the travel series? Hurry up and arrange it. I want to get an annual membership first. Customer service. Hello, dear. We've learned that each episode of the short documentary this time is rather short, so we've decided to stream it for free. Netizens. Dear, do you think I'm short of money for membership? Please hurry up and upload the exclusive premium long version of the video. Customer service. Customer service. Okay, dear. Your request has been recorded. I'll give you feedback in a timely manner. Please give me a star for my service. At first, there were still some people who wondered if it was some sort of publicity stunt. For example, membership was not required for the first episode, but for the second episode, membership was required. For the third episode, advanced streaming was required. And for the fourth episode, membership was required plus advanced streaming plus a single episode fee. But soon, everyone's attention was drawn back to the content of the short documentary. Although the duration was short, the quality was online, and the images were in high definition comparable to professional documentaries. In the first episode, Xiang Yi and Shui went to F-City, the fashion capital. There were two main storylines used in the filming. One was that the two of them went to visit a tourist attraction, while the other was 3 meals a day. When Xiang Yi began to cook her first Western meal, the real-time pop-up comments were all astonished. Wow, Sister, he knows how to cook Western food. I thought Xiangyi only knew how to cook Chinese food. I didn't expect her to be so good at Western food too. I'm impressed. Truffles, snails, caviar, lobster steak, foie gras, travel expenses are nothing. This is a real budget explosion. In the video, Xiangyi was wearing the cute little apron that Xiangqi had sewn for her. Every dish she cooked was smooth and pleasing to the eye. Western food had extremely high requirements for the chef's sense of sight, smell, taste, touch, and sympathetic nerves, and Xiangyi happened to be a genius in this aspect. Under the high-definition camera, the ingredients were extremely tempting, regardless of whether they were fried or stewed. The final product was juicy and full of flavor, paired with exquisite desserts and suitable grape wine. Just looking at it was a pleasure. Xiangyi's explanation of how to do it was added later. The editor used double speed and added a long string of flowery words. Welcome to you definitely won't know how to cook it after watching it. Even if you know how to cook it, you don't have the ingredients. Even if you have the ingredients, it doesn't necessarily look good. If it doesn't look good, it will become a dark cuisine. This program is provided by What Are We Doing Then? I am the host, Jean, and my partner, Yi, and special guest, Yi, and our good friends, Ken and Shui. Thank you to I Don't Know, What Can You Do for their strong support of this program. Remember our slogan, I'm handicapped, I'm proud, I'm saving materials for the country. This segment instantly became the highlight of the variety show, poking at the laughing points of countless netizens, and was made into a short video that was widely circulated. Many years later, it was still a textbook existence for variety shows. This is a story for later, so let's not talk about it for now. In addition to Xiangyi's Western food that amazed everyone, the two of them also had a series of similar designs that went viral. Shui and Xiangyi were wearing a series of handmade, custom-made couple outfits that were designed by Xiangqi and completed with the help of his studio. The price was not cheap, but the stock in the physical stores, official websites, and online stores were all sold out in less than an hour after the program was broadcast. In addition, sports shoes, belts, bags, kitchen utensils, and other similar designs all became popular worldwide. Chapter 1041. On this day, the public once again witnessed Shui and Xiangyi's ability to promote products. It was simply terrifying. Some netizens also noticed that the clothes, shoes, bags, and daily necessities of the two were basically all made in China, except for those designed by Hades. Initially, everyone thought that since Xiangyi had promoted products for many local brands before, those brands should have sponsored Two Under One Roof. However, the local brands soon released statements one after another. Thank you, Shui Xiangyi, for promoting our local brand of mint toothpaste for free. It's not easy to make a local product, and we'll remember the warmth of today's event. We're donating 1 million yuan to charity and hope that this warmth can be passed on. Congratulations to the travel segment of Two Under One Roof. At the same time, thank you, Shui Xiangyi, for supporting our sunscreen umbrellas. Now, our sunscreen umbrellas are not only made in China, they're created by China. Thank you for letting more people know about our sunscreen umbrellas. Today, we're donating 990,000 yuan to charity, and we hope that your love will last forever. Thank you, Shui Xiangyi, for advertising how judges kitchenware on the show. Thank you. The words of gratitude and donations converged into a torrent of public opinion. The impact of negative impressions was profound. Xiangyi had once been criticized by the entire internet, but now everyone was tearing down her label one by one. The most eye-catching thing was the interaction between Shui and Xiangyi. The way the two of them got along with each other was not spectacular. On the contrary, it could be described as plain and ordinary. However, before going out, Shui would check the weather in F City and specially bring a sunscreen umbrella and an umbrella for Xiangyi. When Xiangyi cooked, she would also seriously consider Shi Sui's taste and would cook Shi Sui's favorite foods and flavors for every meal. When the two of them went shopping, Shi Sui would take the initiative to carry their bags, and Xiangyi would also feed him drinks. There would also be many small surprises. For example, when they were rowing, Shi Sui magically pulled out a small bouquet of flowers from behind her back. Another example was when they went to the haunted house at the theme park, and Xiangyi gave him a rabbit doll that she sewed herself. In short, it was all in one word. In just one episode, the amount of dog food and the sweetness of the sugar sprinkled made the majority of netizens sigh with emotion. The best love, Shi Sui, Xiangyi. The untimely couple fans even expressed with tears in their eyes that they could die without regrets. However, at the end of the first issue, there was a suspense. The editing used the form of switching back and forth. Xiangyi angrily threw the spoon away. Whoever made it will make it. Anyway, I can't cook. Shi Sui pushed up her glasses coldly. I've never liked anyone. Please don't flatter yourself. The audience. Where? Was this what the production team was doing? Even web authors aren't as slow as you guys. Why was little Sweet Biscuit being abused? The netizens flocked to Li Jianyu's Weibo and flooded his comment section with friendly greetings. Li Jianyu replied, "The next episode will be at 2000 hours next Saturday night. Be there or be square doghead." The netizens. At the same time, Xiangyi and Shi Sui had just finished filming the 4th episode when they happened to run into Fu Jiayan, who was filming nearby, as well as Jiang Juju, who was holding Fu Jiayan's arm and blushing slightly. "Ahem, long time no see, E." Fu Jiayan smiled foolishly and said, "I've been with her for so long, and I didn't expect the two of us to become a couple. This must be fate." Xiangyi and Shi Sui looked at each other and smiled. Chapter 1042. After chatting for a while, the topic naturally turned to the official announcement. Fu Jiayan said, "I definitely have to make an official announcement. Now, as long as Juju agrees, I'll post it on Weibo immediately." He was an actor, not an idol, so the impact of the official announcement would be relatively small. However, there would definitely be an impact. After all, although he was famous for being a silly comedian, he still had some female fans. Shi Sui asked, "What did your management company say?" Fu Jiayan said miserably, "They're pressuring me, and it's hard for me to resist now. At most, I'll just go all out." Jiang Juju looked down and said, "It's okay with me. Your career is more important." "Juju, I'm sorry, I'm not capable enough." "Okay, it's not a secret marriage anyway. Besides, it's quite exciting to be in a relationship secretly. I swear, I'll make it up to you in the future. You must have what other kids have." Seeing that the two of them were acting out a bitter drama with reddened eyes, Xiangyi put a hand on her forehead and reminded them, "Did you guys forget something very important? If I remember correctly, Fu Jiayan mentioned previously that his contract with the management company is about to expire." "Yes," Fu Jiayan said with a dumbfounded expression, "but I'm not very popular now, and no management company has come to poach me. Those who have come to me have harsher conditions than this one. They'll ban me immediately if I'm in a relationship." Shi Sui couldn't help but laugh and look at Xiangyi. Xiangyi also pointed at herself. Fu Jiayan asked foolishly, "Sister E, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Why are you blinking at me so many times?" Jiang Juju asked worriedly, "E, are you sick? They say that doctors don't treat themselves. Why don't I take you to the hospital for a checkup? Nothing is more important than your health." Xiangyi said, "I just want to remind you that Xiangyi, am the CEO of Tomato Entertainment." Fu Jiayan and Jiang Juju were stunned and had yet to react. Xiangyi sighed helplessly and said, "Yes, Fu Jiayan, it means that you can call me boss." Fu Jiayan was speechless. Huh, that's right, that's right. I can sign with Sister Yi's company and work for you. Jiang Jujio also reacted and exclaimed, Yi, I want to be your sister for the rest of my life. After settling the contract issue, Xiangyi started to think, could it be that falling in love would really cause one's IQ to drop? She hurriedly went online and found a set of college entrance examination math questions that were said to be the most difficult in the country. 148 points. The girl muttered in a low voice, Good, good, he's not too stupid. After all, second brother always got full marks. Fu Jiayan and Jiang Jojo were speechless. Are we too bad at studying? Why can't I even understand the questions? Shi Sui came in with afternoon tea. Seeing the little girl writing and drawing with a tablet and pencil, she came over curiously and asked, What are you playing? Xiangyi said casually, Do you want to give it a try? Fu Jiayan quickly stopped him. Don't. This question is too difficult. After all, Shi Ingdi has never been to university. Jiang Jujio elbowed him and said, He just didn't go to university. He was the top scorer in science for the college entrance examination, okay? Fu Jiayan muttered. Shi Ingdi has been away from the college entrance examination for more than 10 years. He must have long forgotten all his high school knowledge. She thinks I'm lousy? She thinks I'm old? Shi Sui smiled and said, Shall I give it a try? Xiangyi pushed the tablet to him. Half an hour later, Xiangyi changed the score of the answers. How many points? Jiang Jujio leaned over and exclaimed, Wow, 150 points. Fu Jiayan was flabbergasted. It turns out that I'm the clown. Chapter 1043. Maybe it's because this set of papers is relatively easy, Shi Sui said in a warm voice. Fu Jiayan struggled and said, Yes, it might be the capital questions. Jiang Jojio's words shattered his hopes. Wake up, this is the Suchin questions, one of the most difficult math papers in the country. Fu Jiayan was speechless. Good, I can die with a smile. Smiley face. 3 days later, Fu Jiayan officially terminated his contract with his agency and signed a contract with Tomato Entertainment on the same day. Tomato Entertainment. Welcome actor Fu Jiayan to join our family. The artistes under Tomato Entertainment congratulated him one after another. SEA 7 Jiangchen. Hello, Brother Fu. Linjia. Hello, Brother Fu. Molly. Nice to meet you in the future. The most eye-catching thing was Rong Huai. Welcome. Rong Huai. Is that Rong Huai who once appeared on the small cut? Everyone clicked on Rong Huai's identity verification and was shocked. Tomato Entertainment has signed a contract with Tomato Entertainment, a freshman at the Capital Film Academy. Little Wolf Cub is impressive. He actually got admitted to the Capital Film Academy. The netizens who had seen the small cut still remembered the promise between Rong Huai and Xiangyi. After Rong Huai was admitted to the Capital Film Academy, Xiangyi signed him to Tomato Entertainment. All of a sudden, it made people sigh with emotion. Sob, sob, sob. This is so inspirational. Rong Huai really did it. Sister Yi has also signed him according to the agreement. I can't take it anymore. The after effects of the small cut are too great. I still feel like crying when I think about it. However, there were also people who raised doubts and even went to Xiangyi's Weibo to question her. Are you there? The college entrance examination hasn't started yet, and Rong Huai is already a freshman? What a joke. It's understandable that you want to make money by signing artistes, but it's disgusting to fake it like you. I'm also an art student who applied for the Capital Film Academy this year. I can clearly tell everyone that the enrollment process hasn't started yet. How can Rong Huai be admitted? Xiangyi, I had a good impression of you at first, but you indulged your artistes in lying and even falsified certification information to mislead your fans. if you can't be a bad boss, don't be a dog in the manger. Xiang Yi, who was overseas, didn't see these comments because of the time difference. However, Rong Huai could not hold it in any longer. He was young, frivolous, and hot-blooded. He directly posted on Weibo to criticize the netizens. Rong Huai V, you can scold me, but don't scold my sister, okay? His words instantly made Rong Huai the target of public criticism. A ready-made target attracted a lot of firepower. By the time Xiangyi woke up and found out about this, the number of comments on Rong Huai's Weibo had already exceeded 100,000. After learning the whole story, Xiangyi sighed softly. It was something that could be explained in one sentence, but Rong Huai was stubborn and did not explain himself. Instead, he exchanged dozens of rounds with the haters. Of course, the young man's trash-talking skills were quite high. Netizens who were watching the show joked that his words were at the level of Smog's. Your parents have gone to heaven. You don't have a mother, do you? Greetings are meant for people. Are you worthy? Be good, little kid. Return the phone to your family. Netizens made an emoticon pack and spread it widely. The last comment was made 2 minutes ago. Xiangyi sent him a WeChat message. The next second, the following notification appeared on Weibo. Rong Huai V deleted a Weibo post. Rong Huai V deleted. The netizens were dumbfounded. Are the staff members in charge of his Weibo account? The haters mocked. Is the grandson scared? In the next second, Rong Huai V, Xiangyi, sister, they're fierce to me. The haters were dumbfounded. Chapter 1044. The netizens were about to die of laughter. What kind of little wolf dog turned into a cute little puppy in an instant? However, they felt like they had finally found someone to back them up. Xiangyi left an ellipsis, and Rong Huai immediately replied, frowny-faced sister, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have argued. Even if others scold me, I shouldn't have retorted. Also, I'm not angry because they scolded me. I'm angry because they scolded you. They scolded you so harshly, the netizens. Huh? This familiar fragrance. They felt that as long as they had interacted with Shui, they would more or less melt into her. What should I do? I've been poked by the wolf cub's younger brother. He's complaining so aggrievedly. He's so adorable. Let's be honest. Although it's nice to have a close sibling relationship, they can't just blindly defend each other. Rong Huai was the one who cheated in the first place. Warning! Don't forget that Sister E is a magical girl with a 100% chance of slapping others in the face. Her words came true. A few minutes later, Xiangyi updated her Weibo and explained the origin of Rong Huai's Weibo account. Xiangyi, as far as I know, Capital City Film Academy has a small number of special admissions slots in addition to the nationwide enrollment every year. The requirements are extremely high, and one has to go through layers of selection and interviews before being admitted in advance. The young girl's words were concise and comprehensive, but they hit the nail on the head and instantly resolved the debate among the netizens. At first, some people didn't believe it, but soon some netizens found out about Capital City Film Academy's early admission criteria, be it appearance, physique, specialty, professional standards, etc. It was even stricter than the unified enrollment. In other words, it was just like the selection for the gifted junior class, where outstanding students were selected in advance. It sounded unfair, but how many people could reach such a stringent standard? The fact that Rong Huai could be admitted in advance was enough to prove his excellence. Later on, Capital City Film Academy's official Weibo account also came out to respond and released the list of the early admissions this year. There were only a few people in total. There were genius directors, dubbers, and 2 actors with top-notch looks and acting skills. Everyone's qualifications were beyond doubt. At this point, no one doubted that Rong Huai was lying. Some netizens even spontaneously apologized to him. Rong Hui didn't care about the slander or praise from the outside world. He only cared about only his elder sister. He stared at the phone screen, afraid that he would receive a message from Xiangyi, but he was even more afraid that he would not receive a message from Xiangyi. Ding, 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 a video call invitation appeared. He held his breath, his fingers trembling slightly, and pressed the accept button. A young girl wearing a floral dress and a straw hat appeared on the screen. Xiangyi waved at him and teased, "Rong Hui, you've become famous overnight, haven't you?" Rong Hui was obviously a little nervous, and his entire body was stiff. Even when he spoke, he sounded like a robot. I'm sorry, I've caused you trouble. I understand your feelings. If someone scolded my friend, I would also be angry, but Xiangyi changed the topic and advised, "It's best not to be so impulsive in the future. You have to believe that adults can solve many problems, okay?" Rong Hui pursed his thin lips and looked down without looking up. He really wanted to say, "I don't think of you as a friend. I think of you as, who are you talking to? Rong Hui." A moment later, half of Shi Sui's face appeared on the screen, and she nodded slightly at him. He hugged Xiangyi's slender waist. It was a possessive action. Chapter 1045. Rong Hui looked up and stared at the screen for a few seconds before lowering his head again. No one could see the light in his eyes dimming bit by bit. Actually, the distance between them had always been very far. It was just his wishful thinking that as long as he worked hard, he could get closer, even if it was just a little bit. Unfortunately, it was all in vain. He hated that he was only 17 years old and hated that he met Xiangyi too late. "Rong Hui, I heard that you're going for special training soon. You have to work hard and control your temper. Also, there should be a lot of scripts for you in the near future. I think you should focus on your studies. You can take on some dramas that don't have many scenes but have a good cast to hone your skills." The girl's voice was soft, and she was really like a gentle and considerate sister as she instructed Rong Hui in detail. Rong Hui did not speak for a long time and only said one word in a low and muffled voice. Okay. As long as it was what she wanted him to be, he would grow up. Xiangyi seemed to have sensed his subtle thoughts and whispered a few words to Shi Sui. The man seemed to be dissatisfied and narrowed his eyes slightly. His gaze was deep and dangerous as he sized up Rong Hui on the screen. It was unknown what Xiangyi said to him, but Shi Sui left. Before leaving, he even kissed Xiangyi's smooth and fair forehead. It was as if he was declaring his sovereignty. Xiangyi helplessly chided, "Childish!" Those two words instantly caused Rong Hui's world to be in chaos. No matter what, Xiangyi would never say that to him in such a tone. Even an outstanding, mature, steady, and successful man like Shi Sui would occasionally find him childish, let alone him. Rong Hui was extremely dejected and listless, unable to cheer up, until Xiangyi's gentle voice fell into his ears. "Rong Hui, there's someone I like." She did not ask if he liked her, nor did she say that she did not like him. She was gentle, polite, and good-looking, yet she kept him at arm's length. Rong Hui said hoarsely, "I know. Xiangyi, I want to share my view of love with you. It may not be correct, and it may not be suitable for you. Just listen to it as a reference. Before you like someone, you have to like yourself first. No one is more important than yourself. For the person I love, I can give, I can sacrifice, I can give everything I have, but there is one thing: you don't live for TA, you live for yourself." The video call ended. It had been a long time. Rong Hui replayed the conversation over and over again. He secretly turned on the screen recording function of his cell phone. Like a traveler in the desert, he would greedily drink even a drop of water when he saw it. Every sentence was the most gentle, but also the most cruel. God knows how many times it was played on a loop. Rong Hui pressed the pause button, F***ck. Don't flatter yourself. I don't like you. A moment later, his eyelashes trembled nonstop. His voice was hoarse, and he sounded like he was about to cry. I don't like you that much. The young man fidgeted with his hair and punched the sandbag. The heavy sandbag was knocked away and bounced back. He punched the sandbag again and again. Not only was he venting, but he was also suppressing himself. After he was exhausted, the young man half knelt on the ground, breathing heavily. Patter, there were water stains on the floor. I like you. But that's all I like. He seemed to have convinced himself. I can do it, right? In the empty room, no one answered. It was as if the young man's worries had finally been buried. Chapter 1046. At the beach. Xiangyi pressed down on the brim of her straw hat and found Sure Sui. The man was building an excavator. Was it a man's nature to play with sand and excavators? Xiangyi praised. Wow, so cute. Sure Sui looked up, his peach blossom eyes smiling gently behind his glasses. Do you want to play? Yes. Then, Xiangyi watched as Sure Sui pushed the excavator over. Xiangyi was speechless. The man looked at her with a faint smile and did not say a word. But there were 4 words written on his handsome face. I'm not letting you play. Bunny couldn't help but tremble. I'm just teaching him how to love someone properly. Besides, I think I'm overthinking. Maybe he just likes chicks and doesn't like you at all. No, the way he looks at you is the way a boy looks at a girl, Sure Sui said firmly. Xiangyi blinked and hooked her fair arm around Sure Sui's neck. Then what's the way you look at me? At this moment, there was a crazy cough from the side. Ahem. Of course, it's the way a man looks at a girl. Xiangyi's face burned instantly. She let go of Sure Sui at lightning speed and widened her eyes when she saw the large group of staff around them. Li Jianyu was about to pass out from trying to hold back his laughter. Sister Yi, I told you last night that we're going to the beach today to record a scene. Xiangyi pretended to be calm. Okay, let's start then. Okay, everyone get ready and start recording. But the 2 of you have to be careful. Otherwise, you won't pass the audition. Even if you pass, I'm afraid the fans won't be able to take it. Xiangyi was expressionless as she sprayed the sunscreen spray. Unfortunately, it couldn't cover the redness from her ears to her neck. Sure Sui reached out his arm. Tutu, I want some too. Xiangyi stared at him. Xiangyi looked away. Epsilon, I'm not going to spray for you. The overseas recording was in full swing, and Xingchen Video released the 2nd and 3rd episodes, one after another. In the 2nd episode, Sure Sui and Xiangyi went to the snow mountain in D City. The girls made sushi, tamakoyaki, and homemade hot pot. They ate at the top of the snow mountain with Sure Sui and enjoyed the scenery, which made the tourists jealous. Netizens also expressed that if they met Sure Sui or Xiangyi during their travels, they would definitely shout, Sister Yi, don't be ungrateful. Don't force me to kneel down and beg you to give me a bite to eat. In the 3rd episode, Sure Sui and Xiangyi went to the Devil's Valley in Milta. Many elite rock climbers from all over the world gathered here. According to the program team's arrangement, the 2 of them could experience rock climbing once. For the safety of the 2, the production team had carefully prepared seatbelts, descenders, helmets, iron chains, and ropes. Sure Sui tried it first. The man was tall and slender, and his movements were agile. An extreme sport like rock climbing seemed to be a piece of cake for him, and he could climb more than 10 meters in minutes. Li Jianyu asked, Is Sister Yi wearing her equipment? Huh, where's Sister Yi? Someone exclaimed. Sister Yi isn't wearing any armor. She's climbing with her bare hands. The scene was in chaos. The audience could feel the camera shaking, and their hearts were in their mouths. Fortunately, it didn't take long for the camera to return to normal, and everyone could clearly see Xiangyi climbing. Oh no, is this rock climbing? Why is she climbing so fast with her bare hands? Even the monkeys in Devil's Valley can't climb as fast as her. The girl climbed to the top and stood at the top of the mountain, asking in confusion, "Why aren't you guys up yet?" Chapter 1047. She was wearing a portable camera on her forehead, and from her perspective, she looked down at the production crew and the others at the foot of the mountain. Didn't they say that there was a sightseeing elevator nearby? The production crew was speechless. Sorry, we're still waiting in line for the sightseeing elevator. The netizens who had seen this episode laughed wildly as they spammed the bullet screen. Sister E, rock climbing, isn't it enough as long as you have hands? No way, no way. Why are you guys taking so long in the elevator? I can't take it anymore. The post-production editing is toxic. Why did they have to split the video into 2 screens and compare Sister E to a monkey? Help, I'm dying of laughter. Why is Sister E more agile than a monkey? Xiangyi scratched her head and looked at Shui again. The production crew just wanted the 2 of them to experience rock climbing, so they chose a location that was mainly for the scenery. The actual height wasn't too high. Xiangyi stood at the top of the mountain with her hands cupped in the shape of a megaphone. She shouted at Shui below, "Shui, you're too slow." The man who had just climbed more than 10 meters raised his eyebrows. Shui smiled slightly. Shui began to untie the safety rope. The bullet screen immediately became lively. "Woman, you're playing with fire. Warning, high energy ahead. Be careful, it's not a special effect." Is Shui crazy? It's understandable that the Xiang family has ancestral tree climbing skills, but what is Shui doing? How can he climb up without a safety rope and tools? Whoosh! The tools fell, causing the production crew to exclaim in shock. The camera shook again. Obviously, the cameraman was frightened. Li Jianyu was so anxious that he even held the megaphone and shouted, "Safety first! We're just recording a short video. There's no need for that." However, something shocking happened. Shui, who was climbing barehanded, was actually faster than with tools. The man used both hands and feet to climb up the uneven rocks like an agile and powerful cheetah in the jungle. It was as if he was leisurely strolling in the jungle and patrolling his territory. The production crew was speechless. Li Jianyu looked sullen. This, forget it. Remember to mark this part with the words "dangerous operation." Do not imitate in the post-production. Later, he mischievously typed 2 words on the screen. Okay, then it was written in red and bold, as if it was a small advertisement on the street, filling the entire screen. "Dangerous, dangerous, F***king. Please, do not imitate." Netizens complained in the bullet screen. Is this something I can imitate just because I want to? F***ck. I love Shuringdi's stamina. I thought he was weak, but I didn't expect him to be as fast as Sister E when it comes to rock climbing. Look at the muscular lines on his forearms, the hem of his shirt fluttering in the wind, that inverted triangular figure. He's so boyish. A moment later, Shui climbed to the top of the mountain and stood side by side with Xiangyi. The camera they were wearing didn't have high resolution, and the blue light was blurry. However, Shui's smile was still very attractive. Slow. The audience. It's a car. Xiangyi was completely unaware of the approaching danger. "It's all right. Just all right?" Shui asked with an ambiguous meaning. Xiangyi thought he was asking about the climbing speed. So she said frankly, "It's all right. My big brother is better than you. His climbing speed with his bare hands is twice as fast as yours just now." Shui sneered. The girl looked down curiously. Why aren't they here yet? The production crew, because we just got on the sightseeing elevator. The post-production caption was full of tears. Monkeys can't compare to you two, but we can't compare to monkeys. Chapter 1048. Amidst the laughter of the audience, the episode ended. The ratings for the travel section on Demi's website were also getting higher and higher. On Demi's website, the maximum score was 10 points. 1 to 4 points was the worst of the worst. 5 to 7 points belonged to the average level. 8 points and above could be said to be a work of praise. The rating for the travel section of Two Under One Roof had reached an astonishing 9 points. In other words, it was a masterpiece in the eyes of the netizens who participated in the ratings. Relatively speaking, the ratings for movies were stricter, while the ratings for variety shows were relatively lax. Even so, 9 points was enough to shock the industry. The highest score for a variety show in the country was 9. 5 points for Two Under One Roof. In a sense, the travel section could be considered a sequel, as it also got 9 points. It was enough to show how much the audience liked it. Some industry insiders predicted that after the travel section ended, it would probably get a score of 9, 2 or 9, 3. In that case, it was equivalent to Li Jianyu creating another legend. Next, the travel section continued to be updated at a steady pace, with high quality and lots of laughs. The number of clicks repeatedly broke records. Shui and Xiangyi went to the desert, the grassland, the seaside, and the rainforest. The mode was still travel and food. Every time they went to a place, Xiangyi would cook according to the local ingredients. With the broadcast of the overseas version, the travel section could be said to have set off a global tourism craze. Countless netizens would check out the scenic spots that the two of them had visited. The two of them had the same outfits, the same food, the same pose, and so on, which were imitated by people all over the world. In the blink of an eye, it had been 6 days since the 9th episode was broadcast. On this day, a large number of netizens were squatting on Xingchen Video, waiting for the last episode to be broadcasted. The hour hand moved to 7:50 p.m. There were 2 earlier updates, which were released at around 7:50 p.m. Hence, the netizens were used to refreshing the page at 7:50 p.m. They might be able to watch it a few minutes earlier. However, this time, what the netizens refreshed was not a video. Instead, it was a link to the live stream. The netizens were dumbfounded. Everyone clicked on it, and there was a heated discussion in the comments section. What's going on? Isn't the travel section a recorded broadcast? Why is it a live stream? Did something go wrong? Could it be that the show hasn't been produced yet, and they're going to cancel it today, so they're doing a live stream? Just as everyone was discussing, the name of the live stream changed to Frowny Face Welcome to the live broadcast of Mr. Shui and Ms. Xiangyi's wedding. The live stream seemed to lag, and no one spoke for a long time. A few seconds later, the live broadcast room exploded. Wedding. Live broadcast marriage. This must be fake. How is this possible? Meanwhile, on a small island, it was still daytime because of the time difference. In the dressing room, good boy, Jiang Jujiu, Su Tumi, Mo Feifei, and other Xiangyi's close friends were all there, all dressed in pink bridesmaid outfits. In the middle of the crowd, Xiangyi looked up. Her delicate and fair face looked even more radiant after the bridal makeup. Sorry, can I have a word with you alone? Nan stammered. Jiang Jujiu pursed her lips and said, "Hurry up then. The wedding is going to start soon, and it's going to be live-streamed." Okay. The 3 bridesmaids left. Nan, who was wearing the best man's outfit, spoke incoherently. I've been confessed to. No, I have a friend who has been confessed to. Chapter 1049. Meow. A furry little head popped out, from behind Xiangyi. Xiao Naofu took the first plane ride in its cat life. Oh no, tiger life. It was dizzy for a long time and had been sleeping beside Xiangyi for most of the day. But when it heard the gossip, it was no longer sleepy. Nan didn't know that Xiao Naofu could understand human language, so he poured his heart out to Xiangyi in front of it. It's just that, Mr. C. Ahem, not me, it's my friend. No, it's not Mr. C. It's my friend, A, who confessed to my friend B. Yeah, that's it. Xiangyi had been putting on bridal makeup and hair for a few hours, so she was a little lazy at first. But when she heard Nan's big news, her gaze immediately became the same as Xiao Naofu's. One person and one cat stared straight at Nan. Oh, I see. Back to half an hour ago. Nan received a video call from Old Master C. After a few sentences, Old Master C began to reprimand him. Why are you fooling around outside every day? How can being a manager be a proper profession? Everything is inferior, but studying is the best. Among all studies, the best is to study medical books and become a doctor. Nan felt wronged. Grandpa, I'm dizzy with blood, needles, and internal organs. I can't bear to read medical books. I get a headache just by looking at them. I really don't have the talent. Nonsense! Your parents are both medical students from famous universities. Why can't you do it? Your parents are so outstanding, so you must be outstanding too. Nan opened his mouth, feeling somewhat helpless. Why was he Daddy and Mommy's child? In fact, he wanted his parents to have a smart, outstanding, and brave child more than anyone else. Not someone like him, stupid, mediocre, and cowardly. He also wanted to tell Grandpa that the best parents in the world could give birth to smart children, but they could also give birth to stupid children like him. However, he didn't dare to say it, and Grandpa never gave him the chance to. Nan lowered his head and listened obediently to Old Master C's lecture. After criticizing for more than 10 minutes, Old Master C's mouth was dry, so he picked up the teacup and drank some water to moisten his throat. Nan heaved a sigh of relief, thinking that today's torture was over, but he didn't expect Old Master C to start the second round. Look at your hair. They were colorful. Was that the color of a normal person? Also, he's a boy and doesn't look like a man at all. A man must be masculine. Get your ass back here. I'll arrange for you to go to your military medical academy for training. Nan's eyes grew redder and redder, but the more he didn't dare to resist, the angrier the old man became. In the end, he even used personal attacks. If you keep crying, don't come back to this house. Don't acknowledge me as your grandfather. Our Mu family will pretend that there was never a trash like you. At this moment, Nan's phone was taken away. Mr. C. C. Chuanbai held the phone and said in a neither servile nor overbearing manner, Hello, Grandpa Mu. I'm Nan's colleague. Please allow me to say a few words for, Nan. Maybe he's not the best manager, but he's definitely the warmest. Occasionally he will be negligent or inadequate, but he has a meticulous and passionate heart. He is a person who truly works hard for his career. I believe that what you said today was all out of anger, but please don't hurt Nan like this again. After a pause, he said, You don't want him, I want him. Chapter 1050. With that, C. Chuanbai decisively hung up the video call. Nan's eyes widened. How could Mr. C be so calm and decisive? Boo-hoo, he never dared to hang up on his family. C. Chuanbai turned around, and their eyes met. Sorry. Both of them spoke at the same time. C. Chuanbai pursed his lips. You go first. I'm sorry to have caused you trouble again. Also, I'm not as good as you say. I know that I can't compare to you in terms of workability, and I can't help my good girl, Xiangyi with her resources. It's only because she doesn't despise me that I can make a living. Nan's voice was as soft as a mosquito's. He was obviously feeling inferior. Si Chuanbai frowned. No, you're very good. You're very capable, and you treat your artists with sincerity. You're definitely qualified to be a manager. Later on, Mr. C said a lot more. Nan couldn't remember clearly. He only remembered that he seemed to have cried. He heard a soft sigh above his head, followed by a warm hand caressing his head. Si Chuanbai rubbed the little colorful fur on his head and said in a serious tone, "Since you like me and I like you, why don't we get married?" Nan looked up. Huh. Don't worry. Although I don't have much assets, I only have a few properties in South City and a building. I'll add your name to each property. If you like to work, you can work. If you don't, you can collect rent. I'll take care of all the household chores. As for cooking, I've already signed up for a training class. Now, I can make basic home-cooked dishes. Wait. Nan interrupted him, his voice trembling. Are you talking to me? What else? Is there a second person here? Nan held his breath. Nan's vision turned black, and he almost fainted. No, this can't be true. Nan closed his eyes, counted from 1 to 99, and opened his eyes. Si Chuanbai's strict and cold face was still in front of him. Nan slipped away without any hesitation. Si Chuanbai took 2 steps forward and paused. Could it be that he had misunderstood something? This is the story of my friend A and friend B. Nan braced himself and finished the story. Xiangyi hugged Xiao Naofu, and the cat and human nodded in unison. Okay, I understand. So it was Si Chuanbai who confessed to Nan, but Nan was too flustered and didn't respond. Nan mumbled, "Then do you think my friend A and friend B should be together?" Xiangyi said with a smile, "That depends on you." Did little darling discover something? It depends on how you persuade your friend. If one truly liked someone, then age, gender, family background, and IQ were not the biggest obstacles. What's important is whether or not the 2 of them can walk down this path with determination and tolerance. Nan, I don't know about that either. Xiangyi, then you can tell your friend. If you don't like it, you don't have to force yourself. Communicate with him properly, and we'll still be friends. Nan was in a daze for a long time before he said softly, "What if I like her?" Unrequited love was the most humble form of love. The person he liked was as unattainable as the moon. Therefore, he had hidden his love for her in the most unknown corner of his heart. But now, the moonlight shone in. Before Xiangyi could speak, Xiao Naofu jumped off her lap and kicked Nan in the face. "Hurry up and be with this ho-ho." Meow. Nan woke up from his dream and ran out without looking back. He wanted to climb up that ray of light and land on the one and only moon in this world. P.S. Nan's story can't be written anymore. There are quite a lot of restrictions now, so let's just assume that the 2 people in the story are happy and fulfilled. Good night. Chapter 1051. Looking at Nan stumbling, but running forward without hesitation, Xiangyi's eyes curved into crescents. They were a perfect couple. Oh, yeah, even Xiao Naofu couldn't help but exclaim, "You're making me anxious." Meow meow. Although it could speak human language, it still couldn't help but instinctively roar like a tiger. Xiangyi rubbed the back of its neck a few times and teased, "Xiao Naofu, have you gained weight again? Why do you feel like you've gotten heavier?" No. Xiao Naofu was extremely guilty. It just ate an extra can of cat food, 2 bowls of cat food, and some dried fish every day. Besides, little white tiger was the one who fed it, not the other way around. It was as good as not eating at all. "Stupid woman, you're really bad at math." Really? Xiangyi was very puzzled. Ever since she and Shui started filming the show, they had entrusted Xiao Naofu to Xiang Yi's grandfather. According to Xiang Yi's grandfather, Xiao Naofu's appetite seemed to be quite normal. But why did it become as fat as two cats? Its V-shaped face turned into a small round face, then an oval face. Could it be? Xiang Yi squinted. Someone fed you? Xiao Naofu's fur immediately stood on end. Lord Huhu didn't feed me. They looked at each other. Xiao Naofu pretended to be innocent. Meow, meow. It didn't say anything. It was just an ordinary and mediocre kitten. At this moment, there was a fluctuation in the air. Xiang Yi looked over sharply. What came into view was a pink paw pad. She wanted to pinch it. The little white tiger dug out a hole and exasperatedly said, "Stupid, stupid, stupid. So stupid. You're giving me face just like that. Stupid cat. Fat cat." Xiao Naofu said aggrievedly, "I'm not a cat. I'm a big brain. A woo. Hemph. I am. Me too. Look at that ignorant face of yours. Now, I will let you see this Huhu's true body. What is a real brain? Big old axe. Cough, big tiger." The little white tiger cursed in its heart. It was all because of that stupid rabbit and this stupid cat. Both of them had distorted its pure accent. Xiang Yi was also a little curious. What did the little white tiger look like? However, he remained vigilant. The little white tiger sensed it and muttered, "Stupid woman." Its body suddenly enlarged and expanded in the air. Shwa. A white tiger with a snow-white body appeared. Its fur was soft and lustrous, and it danced without any wind. It was majestic and awe-inspiring, with a hint of sacred aura. When he opened his mouth again, even his voice had changed from a childish one to a deep and powerful one. "Fat cat, do you know how powerful this Huhu is now?" Wow, Xiao Naofu's pure cat eyes were filled with yearning. "Woo-woo, this is what I want to be." Xiang Yi felt a sharp pain in the depths of her brain, and her face turned slightly pale. Fortunately, her willpower was astonishing, and she didn't show any abnormalities. The sharp pain lasted for about a few seconds, and a few blurry images flashed past, like incomplete fragments. However, among those fragments, the figure of the white tiger gnawing on a carrot appeared. Pudgy, the white tiger in the air shook and shrank back to its original size like a deflated balloon. It looked at Xiang Yi in shock. How could it be her? Could it be that this is the price Lord Shui had to pay for giving up everything back then? After a moment, Xiang Yi returned to normal and probed. Do you want to eat carrots?" It wouldn't be too much to bribe Xiao Naofu to find out the whereabouts of his good friend, Little Shiji, right? Chapter 1052. Little White Tiger exclaimed sternly, "I'm not eating." A few minutes later, Little White Tiger munched on the carrot, enjoying it more than a rabbit. "If you have any questions, just ask. I haven't eaten carrots in a long time. These carrots are so fragrant." Xiang Yi asked, "How's little Shiji?" I remember that it's almost done with the mission and has enough points." Although it had a cheat, that guy was really hardworking and had been on the verge of death several times. However, it had finally accumulated enough points, and it was double the points. Did it get hurt? Did it have enough to eat? Did it get bullied? Meow? Xiao Naofu asked anxiously. Little White Tiger said in frustration, "Stupid cat. I'm the one who feeds you every day. Atrocious. Why does it care so much about that stupid lion?" Xiao Naofu couldn't be bothered about being called a cat. It asked with tears in its eyes, "Can I see it again?" Little White Tiger said, "You can, but it won't remember you by then. According to the rules, it can retain its memories after being reincarnated as an animal, but it just had to be reincarnated as a human this time." Xiao Naofu was stunned. Xiang Yi frowned too. Will it forget everything? Of course. Even if it remembers, It'll only have a few memory fragments, at most. Or if it sees you, it might have a sense of déjà vu. Xiangyi and Xiao Naofu both fell silent. Little White Tiger swayed its legs in the air, thinking, "Beg me. If you do, I'll consider letting you in through the back door." However, after waiting for a long time, wah! Xiao Naofu pounced into Xiangyi's arms and sobbed. Xiangyi stroked its little head and sighed softly. She thought of something and looked at Little White Tiger. "You still owe Xiao Naofu a chance to reincarnate." The Little White Tiger grinned. "I remember. Originally, it could only reincarnate into a white tiger as handsome and charming as me. But that stupid lion also helped it earn some points." "What do you mean?" Xiangyi guessed, and her heart sank. "It means that it can also reincarnate as a human, but, like little Shiji, it won't have any memories." Xiao Naofu sobbed. I won't reincarnate. I don't want to be separated from this stupid woman." "If you don't want it, you can only live for 10 or 20 years as a cat. Sooner or later, you will have to separate from her." Xiao Naofu was at a loss. What should it do? At this moment, Xiangyi's gentle and quiet voice sounded. "Xiao Naofu, give me your paws." Xiao Naofu didn't know what was going on, but it had complete trust in Xiangyi and extended its little paw towards Xiangyi, a soft, furry ball. He held the girl's fair and delicate hand. "I believe that we will meet again, one day. Even if you and little Shiji have forgotten about me, I'll still be able to tell you apart from the crowd. Trust me, okay?" The Little White Tiger watched this scene with interest. Where did her confidence come from? Xiao Naofu was touched and sobbed. "But I don't want to be separated from you." Xiangyi smiled and said, "Let's pinky swear it's a deal, okay?" The two of them hooked, and the Little White Tiger said, "Xiao Naofu, come with me then. I'll take you to reincarnate now. Don't worry, I'll definitely reincarnate you into a happy, rich, and pampered family. As for little Shiji, humph, I'll just throw it away." As it spoke, it stole a glance at Xiangyi. This stupid woman didn't discover anything, did she? Chapter 1053. Xiao Naofu nodded foolishly with tears in its eyes. However, Xiangyi said, "Let's wait for a while. It won't be too late to go after the wedding. Xiao Naofu, aren't you going to be my flower boy?" Xiao Naofu meowed. "Yeah, I almost forgot about the important thing." Little White Tiger secretly heaved a sigh of relief. "Good that you don't know." Feeling guilty, it coughed and said, Little Shiji has enough points anyway. Forget it. Since Fat Cat is so pitiful, I'll let it be the flower boy too." It then began to dig a hole in the air. "Wait for me, I'll be back soon." Xiangyi was dumbfounded. "Is it that kind?" "It can't be that. It's here to make up for it, because it's guilty of doing something bad, right?" At the same time, the live stream of Xiangyi and Shui's wedding had already become a hot topic on Weibo. It was followed by the word explosive. It had also become a hot topic on various overseas social media platforms. It was no exaggeration to say that it had caused a sensation on the internet and even around the world. In the live stream, the number of viewers increased from a few million to tens of millions. This time, the entire technical department of Xingchen worked overtime and even invited many God-level experts to help stabilize the situation. If it were any other live stream website, the live stream would have collapsed. In the live stream, "Hello, everyone. I'm your dear Xiao Yuyu." Li Jianyu waved at the camera with a radiant smile. The audience began to criticize him. "Good boy, mommy's good boy. I'm yelling, son, don't come out and embarrass yourself, okay? Hurry up and take a picture of Sister E and Shui. Take a picture of the wedding. You'd better take a picture of the bridal chamber and send me a copy." Li Jianyu didn't care about the teasing in the live stream, which was actually quite rare in the industry. Many artists were eccentric and stubborn, and Li Jianyu, who could get along well with netizens, was an exception. Okay, okay, Xiao Yu is disgusting. Xiao Li, will that do? Li Jianyu seemed to be helpless. Today, Xiao Li will bring you guys to watch the wedding of Shi Sui and Xiangyi. Let everyone experience what it feels like to be a couple on the spot. Dang. This is the main venue of the wedding. The camera turned at the right time to show the scenery. The architectural style was like a church, and the interior was romantic and fresh. The main colors were white and pink. Flowers were flown in by air everywhere. It was like a sea of flowers. Just the floral design alone had shocked countless people. Professionals. What kind of godly design is this? This color scheme, this flower arrangement, this design, this combination. There were at least dozens of flower materials. Many of them were rare breeds. How much money would that have cost? Ordinary netizens. F*CK. It was F*King Beautiful. In front of the screen, the netizens frantically took screenshots. When the camera panned to the audience, everyone from the Xiang family was there. Everyone's hands that were taking screenshots sped up. This whole family was too good-looking, especially Madame Xiang. Her temperament made everyone realize what it meant to be a lady from a respectable family. She was the daughter of a socialite. However, some netizens also noticed that there was an empty seat. Where's Big Brother? I have a bold guess. Me too. Sob. Is Xiangyi going to walk the red carpet with Xiangyi? I can't take it anymore. I'm going to cry before it even starts. I believe everyone's done watching. Why don't we go into a commercial break? Hey, who designed the gift of smashing a brick? Can't you spend money to buy spicy sticks? Why did you spend money to smash my Xiao Li? Chapter 1054. After Li Jianyu joked around for a while, a staff member gestured to him, and he immediately corrected himself. I'm just teasing you guys. There's no advertisement placement today. The wedding is about to begin. As soon as he said that, the two MCs appeared. A bunch of exclamation marks appeared in the live stream. One was a prominent figure in the entertainment industry, a legend from 20 years ago, and the first person to win an Oscar, Zhao Minglang. The other looked ordinary, with an average appearance and height. When placed in a crowd, he would simply vanish into the crowd. Someone mocked in the live stream. Inviting Zhao Minglang is decent, but inviting such an ordinary person is a little degrading, isn't it? As soon as he posted this comment, he realized that the bullet screen was filled with people calling him Daddy. He couldn't help but widen his eyes. Daddy, I'm your long-lost son. Are you guys shameless? Go to the side. This is my daddy. Daddy, I've spent all my pocket money this month. Can you transfer me another $5 million? Those who mocked him were still confused. Who's this person? Why are they calling him Daddy? Is this some kind of new meme? Soon, someone explained. Wan Jing was the president of the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce, and his businesses involved farming, animal husbandry, and fishing. To put it simply, he reared more than half of the country's pigs, ducks, fish, and geese. The most admirable thing was that he had been working hard to develop high-tech farming, breeding, and planting. Some people realized that Little Rabbit Farm was working with the Wan family. Was such a small farm really that impressive? Then its owner, Xiangyi, damn it. In an instant, those who came to their senses began spamming the bullet screen with comments such as Sister E is awesome, Sister Yi's reputation, and Sister E is forever a god. Zhao Minglang and Wan Jing pushed each other back and forth. And in the end, Wan Jing picked up the microphone first. Hello. Wan Jing tested the microphone and sounded particularly honest and approachable. Hello, everyone. I'm Wan Jing. Today, I'm especially honored to be invited to be the MC for the wedding of Miss Xiangyi and Mr. Shi Sui. Everyone noticed this detail. He said, Xiangyi's name first. I met Xiangyi when she was 16 years old. She cultivated the super corn and super soybean seeds, which provided a great help to the country's piglets. Ahem, I digress. Wan Jing had actually come for Xiangyi. Seeing that the little girl has found her Mr. Right, I'm happier than anyone else. Today, I'll give each of the guests a piglet. Laughter rang out at the scene, and some people even jeered. Are you still alive? The laughter became even louder. In the live stream, the netizens were calling him Daddy online. Dad, can't you just give me one? Wan Jing gave a few more blessings and passed the microphone to Zhao Minglang. Zhao Minglang was over 50 years old, but he took good care of himself and looked like he was only in his 30s. He was still as elegant as ever. It's my honor to stand here. Thank you, Mr. Shi Sui and Miss Xiangyi, for your invitation. Shi Sui is a young, excellent, and capable young actor. He's also a mature, steady, and responsible man. I hope that in the future, he can create more glory in his career and be a good husband and father in his marriage. Now, let's welcome the groom, Shi Sui. Shi Sui adjusted his tie and cufflinks and appeared in front of everyone. His black suit and white shirt accentuated his broad shoulders and long legs. His hair was combed back, and his peach blossom eyes seemed to be dyed with the spring breeze. Let's welcome the bride, Xiangyi. Everyone's eyes turned to the end of the red carpet. Chapter 10:55. At the scene, a small symphony orchestra played the wedding march. Amidst the sacred and romantic music, Xiangyi appeared in front of everyone in a white wedding gown, holding onto her brother, Sangchen's arm. Next to the tall and sturdy Sangchen, Xiangyi looked slender and petite. The wedding gown she was wearing was exquisite and gorgeous, yet it still retained the vivacity and sweetness of a young girl. The hemline of the gown was decorated with countless fine diamonds, which reflected a bright and dazzling light. All of them were sewn by Xiang Qi needle by needle, and no one else had to touch them. It was truly a princess wedding gown prepared for little Bunny. The baby fat on her fair little face gradually faded, and she began to have a gorgeous face. She was wearing a beautiful crown on her head, a necklace on her slender swan neck, a bracelet on her milky white wrist, and a snowflake necklace on her earlobes. They were all priceless jewelry. Behind her, Xiao Naofu and little Shiji were wearing bows around their necks. The cat and dog seemed to have gained sentience as they followed behind and raised the petals with their little paws. The haters appeared in the live stream. Who uses cats and dogs as flower children? That's so disrespectful. Yeah, flower children, flower children. They should be young boys and girls in the first place. Why force pets to do things that go against their nature? She must have abused them in order to train them to scatter the petals. As a caring person of the Animal Protection Association, I strongly protest against such behavior. This time, the spicy tutu girls, who had always been passive, stood up. Do some people grow their mouths just so they can't speak human language? The Shi Sui sisters were even more direct. It's a joyous day. Shut up if you don't want to die. Smiley face. As for the untimely couple, they were even more furious. Whoever stops my husband and wife from getting married today, I'll have an irreconcilable feud with that person. Even the netizens were displeased and stood up to send their blessings, drowning out the comments of the retards. Everyone watched as Xiangyi walked towards Shi Sui. Sangchen stopped in his tracks and secretly gritted his teeth. He really couldn't take it lying down. However, when he saw little Bunny looking at Shi Sui with glowing eyes, he felt bitter and indignant, but there was nothing he could do. Shi Sui, Sangchen said in a low and powerful voice that seemed to be cold, making the guests below the stage feel their hearts skip a beat. The netizens were also on tenterhooks. They had a feeling that the devil was going to run away with his sister in the next second. However, this was the scene that they had been waiting for. Sang-chun placed Xiangyi's hand. Shusui's palm. I watched her grow up. In the future, please protect her well. I don't care what the world says, but even if she becomes someone's wife and mother, she will always be my sister. After a few seconds, the man said in a hoarse voice, "From today onwards, I'll hand my sister over to you." Xiangyi felt a lump in her throat and tears welled up in her eyes. Sang-chun wiped her tears away. He wasn't good at coaxing people, and he had probably given all his patience and gentleness to little Bunny. "Don't cry. Tutu is the most beautiful bride today." Below the stage, the Xiang brothers were all teary-eyed. Madame Xiang wiped the corners of her eyes with a handkerchief before wiping them for Xiang Yin. Xiang Yin insisted, "What are you wiping for?" "I'm not crying." Madame Xiang was speechless. "You're clearly wetting the handkerchief." "Forget it. I'd better not expose this old man." "What at Sundara?" Chapter 1056. On the stage, Shui held Xiangyi's hand tightly and said in a deep voice, "I will protect Tutu with my life." Sang-chun nodded and strode off the stage, not daring to look at Xiangyi again. In the live stream, the netizens burst into tears. Big Brother's words are so sweet. Oh my God, are my eyes playing tricks on me? Big Brother's eyes are red. Although everyone teases Sang-chun for being a demon, I want to say that he's Xiangyi's guardian angel. The two MCs were also moved. However, they still had to continue presiding over the wedding. Wan Jing and Zhao Minglang looked at each other, after which Zhao Minglang gestured for them to proceed. Wan Jing straightened his expression and said loudly, "Shui, are you willing to marry Xiangyi and make her your wife, and for the rest of your life, be it good times or bad, you will be loyal to each other and never leave each other?" Shui said without hesitation, "Yes." Zhao Minglang continued, "Xiangyi, Shui, are you willing to marry Shui and make him your husband, and for the rest of your life, be it good times or bad, you will be loyal to each other and never leave each other?" Xiangyi said firmly, "Yes. Today, I am here to witness the marriage of the two of you. I hope you will grow old together and live happily ever after. Today, I am here to witness the marriage of the two of you. I wish you a happy marriage and have children soon." The crowd immediately cheered. Xiao Naofu wagged its tail excitedly, only to have its tail hooked by little Shiji. Xiao Naofu was still immersed in joy and didn't realize it at all. It was looking at Shui and Xiangyi, but little Shiji was looking at it. Little Shiji quietly inched closer to it. Ah! Ah! Blessings from all over the world filled the comments section. "Congratulations! Congratulations! Congratulations, newlyweds! I am the Civil Affairs Bureau. I declare you legal." Shaoli, you already have a travel story. Hurry up and plan the baby-taking part. Under everyone's gazes, Shui smiled. "Hello, Mrs. Sher." Xiangyi smiled gently. "Hello, Mr. Sher." The crowd was in an uproar. Kiss me, quick, 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 give me a kiss." Director Li, hurry up and come on stage to massage his head. Li Jianyu laughed and scolded, F***CK, you guys, do you think it's my turn?" In the next second, Shui held the back of Xiangyi's head. His eyes were deep and seductive, revealing an indescribable depth. A kiss landed on Xiangyi's lips. Under the transparent dome, two figures seemed to be bathed in the light. Wow! At the scene, some people clapped excitedly, some cheered, and some whistled. After a long time, Shui finally pulled away from Xiangyi. Li Jianyu urged, "Come on, let's take a photo together." There were actually not many people invited to the wedding this time. Everyone squeezed together, and there was just enough space on the stage. The netizens in the live stream had already begun spamming the screen. "Check in as a memento. Take a screenshot. Let me squeeze too." At the scene, Xiangyi had her grandparents for brothers, uncles, and aunts by her side. There were her good friends Jiang, Jojo, Su, Tumi, and Mo Feifei. There were also the adorable Xiao Naofu and little Shiji. There was also Shui, whose fingers were tightly intertwined with each other. Everyone's smile was incomparably brilliant. 3, 2, 1. With a click, the photographer pressed the shutter. Everything froze at the most beautiful moment. Chapter 10:57. After a rainstorm, the temperature in Southern City plummeted. It had been some time since the wedding. In the afternoon in Little Rabbit Manor, Xiangyi was wrapped in a small blanket and staring at the photo of Xiao Naofu and little Shiji on the tablet. How are they now? Time turned back. After the live stream of the wedding ended, the netizens finally found out that Shui and Xiangyi's wedding venue turned out to be Iceland. Besides, Shui had bought that island when she was 24 years old and named it Tutu Island. Everyone thought when Shui was 24 years old, Sister E was only 17 years old. That dog of a man has indeed been harboring designs on Sister E for a long time. Sister, mommy, brother, uncle, and grandpa were all furious. The fans who were in favor of the couple were extremely sweet. The sweetest couple in the entertainment industry is definitely the untimely couple. Shui and Xiangyi's wedding was celebrated on the internet for several days. However, Xiangyi welcomed the time to bid farewell to Xiao Naofu and little Shiji. On Iceland, Xiao Naofu huffed and puffed as it built 4 snowmen. Xiangyi could barely recognize that the bigger one was Shui, the smaller one was her, and the other 2 were little Shiji and itself. "Is paw cold?" Xiangyi picked up Xiao Naofu and stuffed its chubby paws into her gloves. Xiao Naofu said, "I'm not cold at all." Achoo! Little Shiji moved closer to it and tried to transfer its body temperature to it. Okay, I told you that I would give you a good reincarnation." Little White Tiger said impatiently in the air. However, it somehow felt a little upset when it saw Xiangyi's red eyes. Last 5 minutes. To her surprise, Xiao Naofu refused. "No need, I'll leave now." It jumped onto the ground and raised its chubby little face. "Hey, dog of a man, you must take good care of this stupid woman in the future." Shui raised her eyebrows, but she was too lazy to argue with it. Xiao Naofu turned his face away, refusing to look at Xiangyi. He only said in a muffled voice, "I will remember you, I definitely will." "I'll find you." Sob. It sobbed. "So, you must wait for me," Xiangyi said in a nasal voice. "Yes." "Goodbye, stupid." Xiao Naofu paused. Its icy blue eyes were clear and flawless, and its voice was soft as it called out Xiangyi's name seriously for the first time. "Xiangyi." Then it walked into the hole that Little White Tiger had dug. Little Shiji nodded at Xiangyi and Shui before following closely behind Xiao Naofu. In a flash, so many days had passed. Xiao Naofu should have successfully reincarnated, right? Xiangyi wrapped herself in the blanket and took a sip of the scented tea on the small coffee table. It was her favorite jasmine tea, but at this moment, she felt nauseous when she smelled its fragrance. Was it because she had been eating too greasy food? Recently, just as Xiangyi was about to check her pulse, her phone rang with its exclusive ringtone. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly, and she accepted the video call. Shi Sui's handsome face appeared on the screen. The man was on set, and there were people walking past behind him. Tutu, are you hungry? Xiangyi said helplessly. You just called an hour ago. Who would have thought that Shi Sui would become so clingy after marriage? Sorry, Tutu. If you don't like it, I'll try my best to contact you less. Shi Sui looked down, looking weak, helpless, and pitiful. But can you contact me at least 10 times a day? If not, 8 times? Xiangyi was speechless. Chapter 1058. After coaxing Shi Sui for a few minutes, Shi Sui reluctantly agreed. They contacted each other 5 times a day. That was just a video call. Basically, the two of them would share their daily lives whenever they had a meal or saw something interesting. Before hanging up the video call, Xiangyi casually mentioned that she felt a little uncomfortable. Shi Sui nodded calmly and said, Okay, got it. It was past 8 o'clock in the evening. Xiangyi lay on the sofa and watched a movie for a while, only to feel extremely sleepy. How strange. Her biological clock was very accurate. She would usually get sleepy around 10 o'clock. I seem to be getting sleepy a little early today. Her cell phone vibrated, and Xiangyi forced herself to look at it. Jiang Jujiu, I'm pregnant. Jiang Jujiu, sob, I'm so nervous. Jiang Jujiu, what should I do? What should I do? I read a sadomasochistic novel last night. It's about a husband who would imprison his wife and dig out her heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys for the sake of his lover. There's also a Rose who would come to the door and humiliate her before asking for her baby's umbilical cord blood. What if it happens to me too? Xiangyi, Fu Jiayan probably doesn't have the guts to do that. Xiangyi, I suggest you keep the audio and video recordings as evidence and hand them over to the police in time. Let the scumbag couple be tried by the law. The penalty for illegal detention is at least 3 years of imprisonment. The penalty for selling human organs is more than 5 years of imprisonment. The penalty for intentional homicide is death, life imprisonment, or more than 10 years of imprisonment. Jiang Jujiu was speechless. She suddenly felt much calmer. Xiangyi, by the way, I have to correct some common medical knowledge. There are 5 major principles for organ transplants. First, informed consent. Second, respect the principles. Third, effectiveness. Fourth, no commercialization. Fifth, confidentiality. Sixth, ethical review. In addition, there may be rejection after the transplant. Immediately afterwards, a bunch of medical terms made Jiang Jujiu's head spin. She hurriedly made a video call. After the call was connected, Jiang Jujiu rambled on and on. Thousands of words could be summed up into 4 words, at a loss. Xiangyi patiently told her some things to pay attention to in the early stages of pregnancy and recommended a few books. Although Jiang Jujiu was extremely talented in the violin, she would get a headache whenever she read. She said in distress, Okay, I'll try my best to read. Xiangyi said, Not only you, but Fu Jiayan should also learn more about it. Here, take a look at him. Jiang Jujiu spun her cell phone and took a photo of Fu Jiayan, who was in the corner. The man cried miserably, Wu Jujiu and I have a baby, Jiang Jujiu sighed, and said, I just think Fu Jiayan is too childish. If it were Shi Sui, he definitely wouldn't be like this. Xiangyi couldn't help but laugh. After chatting with Jiang Jujiu for a while, she suddenly realized something and said goodbye to her before hanging up. Xiangyi checked her own pulse. Xiangyi nodded calmly. At this moment, the sound of the fingerprint lock being unlocked was heard. Xiangyi looked at the door, only to see 2 travel-worn figures appear in front of her in the dark of the night. Si Chuanbai's face turned pale. Sister E, can I use acupuncture to treat motion sickness? Yes. Xiangyi hurriedly went to look for the medical kit and asked curiously, Mr. C, I thought you don't get carsick. Si Chuanbai said feebly, You'll have to ask your husband about that. He drove today. Shui said innocently, maybe I drove a little too fast. Si Chuanbai was very tired. How can you call that a little too fast? You were driving at the speed of a racer. Okay? Chapter 10:59. Xiangyi smiled and said, his driving skills are good, right? Si Chuanbai wanted to complain, but he suddenly remembered that Xiangyi could drive the car with special effects and immediately shut up. After removing the needle and disinfecting it, Xiangyi found the right acupoint and performed acupuncture on Si Chuanbai. After a while, Si Chuanbai said with surprise in his eyes, I don't feel dizzy anymore. It works really quickly. Mr. Si, it's good that you're all right. Why don't you stay and rest tonight? No, Nen is still waiting for me at home. Si Chuanbai glanced at Shui, who was smiling ambiguously. If he really stayed, this possessive dog of a man would definitely set him up in the future. Shui and Xiangyi walked Si Chuanbai to the door. On the way back, Xiangyi said casually, I'm going to be a mother. Huh, are you a fan? Shui thought that she and Jiang Jiujiu were watching the recently popular talent show and were either fans of the contestants or fans of the contestants. Xiangyi shook her head and said, You're going to be a father too. Shui said calmly, Okay. The two of them took a few steps forward, and all of a sudden, Shui stopped in his tracks and grabbed her slender wrist. Xiangyi asked in puzzlement, What's wrong? Shui's atoms apple-bobbed, and his gaze was even darker than the night sky. His deep voice trembled slightly. What did you say? I'm going to be a mother, and you're going to be a father. Shui took a deep breath and asked, Are you pregnant? Yes, my pulse is stable, and the baby and I are both very healthy. Xiangyi was very confident in her medical skills. If she really couldn't do it, she still had her grandfather around. Shui stood rooted to the ground for more than 10 seconds. He took off his jacket and draped it over Xiangyi's body. He wanted to carry Xiangyi back, but was afraid that it wouldn't be safe, so he carefully held on to Xiangyi. I'll hold you, and let's talk inside. It's too cold outside. It seemed logical and calm, but Xiangyi could tell that his voice was trembling even more. Xiangyi wanted to laugh. It's normal to be pregnant. Don't be too nervous. Shui did not say a word and just supported her steadily. In the living room, Shui helped Xiangyi to sit on the sofa and covered her with a blanket. She lowered her eyes, and no one knew what she was thinking. Are you unhappy? Xiangyi guessed. I understand. Not everyone likes children. Shui's voice was hoarse. I'm not unhappy. He held Xiangyi's hand and pressed it against his heart. Bang, bang, bang. The touch on his palm was warm and strong. His heartbeat was far beyond normal. Shui's deep eyes were filled with confusion and panic. I never thought that I would have a child. Xiangyi blinked and seemed to have realized something. She wrapped her arms around Shui's neck and asked gently, Are you afraid? Shui laughed at himself. Yes, he was afraid. I'm sorry. I should be protecting you and the baby. Let me sort out my emotions. It's okay. There was a sweet smile in her soft voice. Protecting is mutual. I will protect you too. When the baby grows up, it will also protect you. No matter how dark his childhood was or how cruel human relationships were, he had never shed a single tear. At this moment, for the first time in his life, Shui had the urge to cry. He leaned his forehead against Xiangyi's. I love you. Xiangyi smiled. I love you too. In the void, little white tiger covered its eyes with its paws and only peeked at the two of them through the gaps. That fat cat was already in Xiangyi's stomach. It wasn't biased. Chapter 1060. It just thought that the fat cat was cute, and it saw its past self in it. It was afraid that it would suffer in the future. so it found a good family for the fat cat. Lord Suresway didn't need to say anything. He had passed the tribulation that he should have endured. In the future, his luck in this world would definitely be top-notch. As for that stupid woman, that was it. She just had a better family background, was a little prettier, and had more people doting on her. Well, however, little White Tiger looked at Xiangyi with yearning. She would definitely be a good mother in the future. He really envied the fat cat. As for it, who knew how long it would be the keeper of order? It could be thousands or tens of thousands of years. Before Xiangyi went to bed, she told everyone about her pregnancy in the family group. No one replied in the group, probably because they were all busy. She didn't think much about it and sent a good night before falling asleep. Little did she know, at the esports base, bang! Xiangyu finished off an opponent cleanly, and his teammates all cheered him on. Sameo-gu is awesome. Bro, carry me, the best sniper in the league. Xiangyu ignored them coldly. His phone buzzed and vibrated. Taking advantage of the gap between the game character-changing equipment, he glanced at it and instantly stopped. 1 second, 2 seconds. His teammates kept reporting, ready to start the team battle, but Xiangyu didn't move. F***CK. Sameo-gu, what are you doing? Xiangyu pushed the keyboard and mouse away. You guys play, I have something urgent. Everyone expressed their understanding, but they still couldn't help but wail, my rank. Xiangyu rushed to the balcony and paced back and forth for a long time, telling himself to calm down. Calm down, my ass. How could he calm down? His sister was pregnant. He wanted to reply, but his sister had already said good night. He was afraid of disturbing her, so he hesitated for a while. Xiangyu began to look up pregnancy knowledge. At the Research Institute, Xiangli had just finished an experiment. Fatty came over and said with a smile, I heard that there's new progress in your experiment. Your laboratory will definitely win the Medical Research Award next month. Maybe. Xiangli had never cared about these empty titles. He took out his phone, and the moment he saw the WeChat message, his reaction was exactly the same as Xiangyu's. Exhale. Inhale. Fatty panicked. Bro, are you all right? I'll call the doctor right away. No need. Xiangli pushed up his glasses and said calmly, Are you sure? Your hands are shaking. It's all right. Xiangli said, Help me prepare a batch of books. Brother, go ahead. Fatty was overjoyed. He thought that Wang Yao had some new ideas and wanted to get some information from the National Library. That was a top-secret library. Even in their research institute, there weren't many researchers who had access to it. I want all the authoritative books on pregnancy and pregnancy. Oh, right. I also want books on children's education. Forget it. Give me a set of primary, middle, and high school textbooks as well. Fatty, was Dr. Xiang going to change his profession? At the design studio, Xiang Qi was sewing a dress for his sister. The assistants were used to it, but they still couldn't help teasing him. Hades, you've made too many dresses for your sister. She probably won't be able to wear them all. This wasn't an exaggeration at all. In addition to the dresses he sewed himself, every time his brand released a new product, he would send it to Xiangyi immediately. What do you know? If she can't wear them all, I'll let my future niece wear them. Xiang Qi had just finished showing off when his phone vibrated twice. Chapter 1061. When he finished reading Xiangyi's message, boom! Xiang Qi was dumbfounded. Xiang Qi was in a trance. The assistants were extremely nervous. Hades, are you all right? What's the matter? Are you feeling unwell? Xiang Qi remained in a petrified state for dozens of seconds before suddenly bursting into laughter. He looked like a demon, but more like a demon. The assistants looked at each other in dismay. Has Hades gone crazy? Oh no, there are many examples of artists going crazy. Hades is a design genius. Could he have gone crazy? I have a little niece. Ha 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 ha. Xiang-Chi was elated. Go, bring me all the newly dyed fabric. I want to make some clothes for my niece. Onesies, cotton-padded jackets, quilts. I have to arrange everything for her. I have to make the most beautiful and adorable ones in the world. Everyone was enlightened. It seems that Hades' sister is pregnant. Someone couldn't help but say, "Are you sure it's a little niece? What if it's a little nephew?" Oh. Xiang-Chi's smile froze. A moment later, he roared, "Impossible! It's definitely a little niece." Everyone hurriedly chimed in, "Yes, yes, it's definitely a little niece." However, they were muttering in their hearts, "If it's a little nephew, Hades will probably go crazy." He was furious. At Lynchen Law Firm, the law firm had a flexible working system. Apart from the lawyers who had to appear in court, everyone else was free to come to work at their own time. A few night owls were handling the cases on hand and glancing at the big boss's room from time to time. Big Boss is indeed worthy of being called the Demon King by the entire internet. He's simply a ruthless work machine. Is there nothing in this world that can make him stop working? Just as everyone was secretly criticizing him, the office door opened. Sang-Chen was dressed in a formal suit that accentuated his broad shoulders and long legs. He was born with a strong aura and was full of oppression. Everyone hurriedly greeted him. "Hello, boss." "Good evening, Lawyer Xiang." "Lawyer Xiang, would you like to order supper together?" Sang-Chen didn't seem to hear them and walked towards a female employee. "Everyone." Coming, coming. Are they going to act out the tyrannical lawyer falling in love with me? Woo, woo, woo. Could he finally wait for the iron tree to bloom? But that female employee seemed to be married. The female employee felt her scalp go numb when the Demon King appeared in front of her. Sang-Chen asked, "Excuse me, are there any places around here that sell mother and baby products?" Huh. The female employee hurriedly recommended a few shopping malls and imported supermarkets. Sang-Chen thanked him and strode out of the law firm. Everyone was dumbfounded. Is Lawyer Xiang skipping work today? Mother and baby products? Could it be that Lawyer Xiang is pregnant? The child's mother is here. Everyone started gossiping. The next day, Xiangyi stretched and got up to wash up. Xiangyi slept soundly, probably because she was open-minded and had a good physique. Just as he stepped out of the door, Xiangyi was stunned. The living room was full of people. She stared blankly at the clock on the wall. That's right, it was only 7 in the morning. Why are big brother, second brother, third brother, fourth brother, youngest uncle, and youngest aunt all here? "Brother, what are you guys doing here?" Xiangyi asked as she took a step forward. Xiangyu exclaimed, "Don't move." Xiangyi got a shock and almost lost her balance. Xiang Feng chided, "Do you know that you're scaring little Xiangyi?" As he spoke, he dashed toward Xiangyi and said, "Don't be afraid. I've already prepared a wheelchair for you." Xiangyi was dumbfounded. Chapter 1062. Xiangyi was speechless as she watched her uncle push the wheelchair over. She was pregnant, not a fracture. Why did she have to sit in a wheelchair? Xiangwan said fiercely, "Get over here. Aren't you ashamed of being a grown-up? You want to sit in a wheelchair? Come, I'll satisfy you. I'll break your legs." Xiang Feng said weakly, Don't think I'm afraid of you. It's the old man who taught me to follow my heart. Forget about it." After Xiangwan finished complaining, she looked at Xiangyi and said softly, "Grandpa and Grandma will be here soon. They went to bed early last night and only found out this morning." Xiangyi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's just a pregnancy. There's no need to make such a big fuss. No, pregnancy is a big deal. She was right. The Xiang family was very protective of each other and had a deep relationship. Everyone was happy to have a new member. Just then, the kitchen door was pulled open and the aroma of rice filled the air. Sure Sway was wearing an apron and looked like a good husband and father. He said gently, "Tutu is awake? Wash your hands and get ready to eat." Everyone took their seats. Xiang Qi said warily, "You're not acting for us, are you? Do you usually order Tutu to cook for you?" Sure Sway smiled and didn't explain. He served porridge to everyone. Xiang Yi quickly said, "Ever since we got together, he's always been the one cooking. I'm just an assistant at most." That's more like it. It was rare that Xiang Qi didn't bring a bowl this time. Everyone looked at him awkwardly with a small bowl. "By the way, I made a lot of little clothes for my little niece overnight. I'll make little shoes for her later." Xiang Yi said helplessly, "It might not be a girl. It must be. I have a feeling." Xiang Qi was very confident. Xiang Feng also laughed heartily. "Hey, imagine soon there will be a white and soft little boy calling me uncle and master." Xiang Yu also looked forward to it. Xiang Li and Sang Chen did not show it, but they could not help but imagine it. Little Munchkin, who had 2 buns tied up in a pretty little dress, ran over and opened his chubby arms. He called out in a soft and sweet voice, "Little Munchkin, I'm so happy that I'm happy." "Uncle, carry me." Just thinking about it made him feel good. Before long, Xiang Yin and Madame Xiang were there too. The 2 elders didn't even have time to eat breakfast. One took Xiang Yi's pulse first, and the other took Xiang Yi back to the room to talk. Xiang Feng asked expectantly, "Old man, a boy or a girl?" Xiang Yin rolled his eyes and asked, "What did you call me?" Xiang Feng reacted with a shudder and hurriedly slid to his knees. "Father." If it were any other time, Xiang Yin would definitely chase after him and beat him up. However, he was in a good mood today and couldn't be bothered to hold it against him. It's still too early to tell. Moreover, it was not accurate to just rely on the pulse. But, a bunch of people looked at Xiang Yin with glistening eyes. Xiang Yin said firmly, "I've already asked an old friend to read his fortune. It must be a girl. She's as adorable as Tutu when she was a child." Xiang Feng said, "Dad, this is just superstition. Little rascal, come here." The living room was bustling with activity. Sure Sway stood at the side with a smile on his thin lips. Daughter is great. He didn't even think about having a son. In midair, the little white tiger was trembling with fear. "Oh no, oh no, I feel like I'm going to screw up. I've reincarnated the fat cat into a boy. Forget it, forget it. I'd better run for my life. Otherwise, Sure Sway will definitely want to eat tiger meat hot pot. I haven't realized that little Shiji has also been reincarnated successfully." Chapter 1063. The little white tiger scurried away immediately. There seemed to be a fluctuation in the air, but apart from Sure Sway, no one noticed anything unusual. Sure Sway squinted with a trace of danger in her eyes. That little white tiger better not stir up any trouble. "Huh? E is pregnant too." After Jiang Jojo heard the news, she was overjoyed. "Hubby, if E's baby is a girl and ours is a boy, we'll arrange a betrothal. If both of them are girls, we'll be best friends from a young age." Fu Jian asked, "What if it's 2 boys?" There was silence. A few seconds later, Jiang Jojo said with a sullen face, "Fu Jian, do you want to die?" Soon, their family and friends all found out about Xiangyi's pregnancy. However, it hadn't been made public on the internet yet. Since Sure Sway and Xiangyi didn't lack popularity, there was no need for them to hype things up. A few days later, Sure Sway made a cameo appearance in the last drama and stopped all her work. She then rushed home to take care of Xiangyi. Apart from occasionally posting about her daily life, Xiangyi didn't go on Weibo much. Both of them went into hibernation mode, which made their fans anxious. Their career fans cried and begged them to work every day, which rising artist would stay at home and slack off. The fans of the couple started by begging for a live stream, then asked for a group photo. And in the end, they begged for them to post something on Weibo. The fans were in high spirits and secretly created posts such as "She's a once-in-a-lifetime beauty." Even Xiangyi has to step aside. Shi Sui is the second most promising actor in the country, and so on. All of a sudden, those people got a lot of resources and hence became even more arrogant. They even had the audacity to criticize Shi Sui and Xiangyi. They said that they were has-been, useless, and didn't care about their fans. The Shi Sui sisters were infuriated to see that those people were getting all the benefits and even criticizing them. On the other hand, the Spicy Tutu fans were very Buddhist and said, "Only by not forgetting your original intentions can you achieve success." The passers-by began to mock them again. However, the Shi Sui sisters immediately understood. I almost forgot about Sister Yi's 100% face-slapping aura. Our Shi Sui now has Sister Yi's protection. Don't panic. As expected, a few days later, all the major movies announced their release dates one after another in an attempt to seize the Spring Festival slot. Among the dozens of officially announced movies, the most eye-catching ones were director Mu Si's Martial Arts and director Yen Zhenhua's Dark Knight is Coming. This one was a standard commercial film with a Hollywood script and big-name actors. Everyone in the industry felt that this film would be able to successfully snipe the Spring Festival slot with an estimated box office of $5 billion. The other movie was more of a mystery, plot, and literary element, which was relatively niche. Of course, with Shi Sui leading the box office, people in the industry felt that the movie would not be bad. The box office was estimated to be relatively conservative, at only $1 billion. However, Shi Sui and Xiangyi both starred in the two movies. Now, Shi Sui sister and Spicy Tutu could hold their heads high. There's no choice. Our artists only have so many works. The opposing fans said sourly, the box office is still uncertain. Maybe there will be another dark horse. Shi Sui's sister, ex-Spicy Tutu. Oh, is that so? Does your artist have any works? Can it be released during the Spring Festival slot? The opposing fans. This group of people turned off their microphones dejectedly, but they thought to themselves, maybe these two movies will flop. The weather was getting colder and colder. In the blink of an eye, it snowed twice in Nanchang. As the Spring Festival was approaching, all the major production teams began to prepare for the release of their films. In addition to the regular release of movie trailers, movie premieres, and media viewing events, this time, many movies tried to do live broadcast promotions. Chapter 1064, Martial Arts and Dark Knight is Coming were no exception. Moreover, the directors of both movies had chosen Little Rabbit Manor as the location for the live stream. The two directors even quarreled secretly. Director Yen, smart. Director Mu, you're the smart one. Director Yen said righteously, I'm trying to use the scenery to express sadness and light to contrast the darkness. I'm using the brightness and warmth of Little Rabbit Farm to set off the gloominess of our movie. Director Mu retorted, I'm also trying to promote Chinese culture and let the audience both at home and abroad understand Chinese flower arrangement, tea ceremony, martial arts, swordsmanship. Director Yen, bullsh asterisk tea. You're doing this just to eat. Director Mu, you have the cheek to say that to me? Director Yen, if outsiders knew about their quarrel, they would probably die of laughter. These two famous directors who had accumulated billions of box office earnings were actually quarreling over a mouthful of food. It was unimaginable, relying on his relationship with Shi Sui and being thick-skinned, honest and honest. Director Yen led the crew of Dark Knight is Coming to Little Rabbit Manor. While the staff was adjusting the equipment, Director Yen put his hands behind his back and looked around like an old man taking a stroll in the park. A gratified smile appeared on his face. Not bad. Xiaohei has gained weight. These ducks look good. They seem to have internal injuries. And these chickens, TSK, they seem to have suffered heat stroke. The staff was speechless. Internal injuries? How could you tell? And heat stroke in the middle of winter. Director Yen, have some shame. As for the others, they were like fish in the pond and pigs in the granary. Xiangyi had already prepared all kinds of desserts, snacks, and drinks when she heard that they were coming. Everyone's stomachs were already full before the live stream started. The staff cleared his throat and said, the equipment is ready. We can start now. Everyone will temporarily set the live stream to 1 hour, but there will be a Q&A session, so it might take a little longer. All the actors, it's okay. The goose will taste better if it's stewed a little longer. Sister E even marinated the meat. It'll taste better if it's roasted longer. Hey, Sister E said that she's cooking bone broth now. It'll taste great when it's served in hot pot. The staff looked hopeless. Are you here to promote the movie or to eat? I seriously suspect the latter. Okay, let's begin. Millions of viewers flooded in as soon as the live stream started. Compared to Mu Si, Director Yen actually had more influence in the country and had more loyal fans. In the first half of the hour, they were still talking about the movie seriously, but in the second half of the hour, everyone's style started to deviate. It's really too tough for us to make this movie. A veteran actor started the conversation, but the audience didn't think much of it. They thought that it was another cliché about the harsh environment. Unexpectedly, the veteran actor said with a pained heart, "You're too young. Do you know, Sister Yi's cooking is too delicious, but we have to maintain our weight when acting. We can't be thin in the beginning and become fat in the end. Therefore, at most, he could only taste it. This is too torturous." The netizens were stunned for a moment before they started laughing. Do you know who is the happiest person in the crew? It was Director Yen. He's not acting, so he doesn't need to maintain his weight. After filming this movie, Director Yen gained 20 pounds. Yen Genhua chuckled and rubbed his stomach. No, it's only 19 pounds. The netizens. Was 19 pounds a little? It was quite a lot. Chapter 10, 65. The other actors didn't dare to tease Director Yen and could only tease each other. Old Zhang, who was the one who said that he wanted to sever ties with me over a mouthful of braised prawns. TSK, you still have the cheek to say that. Didn't you also say that you can't be brothers over a pineapple bun? And that rascal Rong Huai, he snatches Yen Nai's food every day. Ha ha ha. Yen Nai has probably never suffered such grievances in his life. Rong Huai and Yen Nai, who had been cued, looked at each other in disdain. Rong Huai humphed openly, looking like a haughty school bully. Yen Nai only dared to criticize in his heart and silently drew circles on the sofa. I curse you. I can't eat your sister's cooking. His fans started cheering. I'm a cult couple. Yen Nai is so cute when he draws circles and curses. What kind of cute little puppy is he? Rong Huai is very arrogant. Has he forgotten that he complained to Xiangyi about being wronged previously? Ha! Sure Sui and Xiangyi didn't talk much, but they had always been the focus of everyone's attention. The two of them talked about their understanding of the script and the characters, which also allowed the netizens to have a deeper understanding of the drama. Sure Sui said, "In a sense, this drama doesn't conform to the mainstream setting of the characters. Instead, almost all of them are villains. Every flower of evil that grows in the midst of sin has a strong sense of tragedy." Xiangyi said, "Compared to the most family-friendly movies that are screened during the Spring Festival, the tone of Night is Coming is heavier. Every character is actually a small figure. The pain, sins, and struggles of the small figures. It has its own unique charm. As the live stream went on, the pre-sales box office also rose steadily. In the past, everyone was used to going to the cinema to buy tickets. Later on, they gradually got used to buying tickets online. Now that it was more convenient, they could buy pre-sales movie tickets a week or even half a month in advance. After more than 50 minutes of the live stream, the pre-sales box office had already exceeded 200 million yuan. This figure had far exceeded director Yan's budget. He was already prepared for this movie to flop. It would be good enough if it could earn more than 100 million yuan. He didn't expect the pre-sales box office to exceed 200 million yuan. The actors were also very happy. The veteran actor from earlier said, "Ha! When the live broadcast ends, I'm going to eat 2 more bowls of rice to celebrate." A large number of netizens' eyes lit up when they heard this, and they started to refresh the screen. "Don't. Let's talk while we eat." "That's right. We don't mind watching another mukbang." "Director Yen, I bet that if you continue to stream, the box office sales will continue to rise." Yen Zhenhua happened to see these comments during the interactive segment. He thought for a moment, got everyone's approval, and said with a smile, "All right then, let's continue with the live broadcast." However, he didn't have much hope in his heart. At most, the box office would increase by a few tens of millions. 30 million was already too much. He was worried that Shui and Xiangyi's popularity would be depleted, so he added, "Add another half an hour." The netizens were a little disappointed, but half an hour was better than nothing. Xiangyi had prepared half-finished products, and she directly brought the marinated meat over. Everyone took out the roasting tray and began to roast it. The marinated pork belly was cooked in just a few moments, and the oil was constantly secreted, exuding a tempting fragrance. There was no need to sprinkle chili powder or barbecue sauce on it at all. It was extremely delicious. The netizens were shocked. Countless people began to share the link to the live stream to their friends or social media platforms. The pre-sales box office sales also quietly began to rise. Chapter 1066. Come, come, come. Freshly roasted pork belly. It's marinated with starch, oyster sauce, star anise, eggs, salt, chili, and other condiments. It's fragrant, but not greasy. It's soft and tender. One bite. TSK. This taste is amazing. The veteran actor was the first to comment. Everyone praised. The netizens were also salivating. Of course, while watching the live stream, they did not forget to talk about the plot. They even started a competition to guess who the biggest villain was. The netizens' enthusiasm for participating in the live stream increased. Next, the bullfrog fish had hot pot, stewed goose, braised prawns, chicken, and other dishes were served one after another. Most of the dishes were prepared by Shui, and Xiangyi was only in charge of seasoning. Even so, the taste was already delicious. Director Yen initially wanted to check the box office, but he ended up getting carried away as soon as he started eating. He was the one who ate the fastest. Rong Hui was even more ruthless. He snatched Yen Nai's portion of barbecued meat and stacked it on top of each other before eating it in one bite. Yen Nai was so angry that he wanted to hit him with a pair of tongs. Xiangyi did not touch the greasy dishes on the table and obediently ate the bland dishes. Little did they know that the popularity of the live stream increased from more than 10 million fans to 20 million, then 30 million. The pre-sales box office also increased from 200 million to 300 million, then to 400 million. The industry's jaws almost dropped. What kind of new publicity method is this? Is a live stream publicity so impressive compared to conventional Weibo, forums, Tieba, and video publicity? It's so weak. Many friends in the industry called Director Yen and asked him to check the box office. However, director Yen had placed his phone aside and turned it on silent mode, so they did not notice. The staff reminded them that half an hour had passed. Director Yen then said, "Today's live stream will end here. I hope that the audience can support our movie. Night is coming. It's the first day of the Lunar New Year, and I'll give you a surprise." The staff hesitated and said, "Director Yen, the audience is very vocal. Why don't we eat? Ahem, chat for a while more. If we continue chatting, there will be spoilers." Director Yen wiped his oily mouth and continued, "Let's stop here. If you're interested in our movie, remember to go to the cinema and support us." Shi Sui, Xiangyi, and the rest also greeted the audience briefly, and everyone continued eating. The staff was speechless. Fine, Director Yen is still the best, as expected of a famous director. He had strength. How courageous. He cut off the live broadcast. At this moment, Director Yen also got his phone and muttered, "Why are there so many people calling me? Did something happen?" After holding it in for a long time, the staff finally said, "Director Yen, it's exploding. What's the big deal? It's just pre-sales. 200 million is nothing. I have a movie with a box office of 2 billion. Director Yen drank some wine and couldn't help but boast. "Wait for my next movie. I'll make a movie that's worth 5 billion or 10 billion yuan in minutes." The staff member said, "All right, you should take a look at the advance ticket sales." Director Yen picked up his phone and thought that there should be 220 million now, or 230 million. When he saw the numbers on the screen, Director Yen shuddered. Director Yen sprang to his feet. "How's the box office?" Xiangyi asked curiously. "I wonder how the live broadcast is." Director Yen muttered, "We're rich, we're rich." He turned the phone screen around so that everyone could see the number on it. Arrival of the night advance ticket sales, 890 million. Chapter 10, 67. Everyone widened their eyes in disbelief. More than 800 million. How is that possible? However, someone secretly used his cell phone to check, only to find that it had increased by another 10 million yuan in just a few minutes. 900 million yuan. In the Chinese film industry, there were many movies that had exceeded 900 million yuan. There were at least 100 of them, but those that had exceeded 900 million yuan in advance sales, there really weren't any. We've broken the record. The veteran actor clenched his fists in excitement. He had never thought that he would be able to act in a movie with such a high box office in his lifetime. The ticketing software also instantly refreshed the box office forecast. Dark Knight is coming 3 billion yuan. The breaking of the box office record made it to the hot search on Weibo. At first, the netizens thought that it was just a publicity stunt. Who are you kidding? 900 million yuan in advance sales? Are there that many fools and rich viewers? However, some of the netizens who had watched the live stream and bought tickets stepped forward. What's the big deal? The quality of Director Yan's movies is guaranteed to begin with. Isn't it normal to support the live stream? If you don't understand, just ask. The ticket price is 30 yuan per ticket. There are tens of millions of viewers in the live stream. You can easily buy tickets for 900 million yuan, all right? Yeah, the quality of this movie is amazing just by looking at the trailer. Besides, the actors and actresses seem to be enjoying the live stream so much. I'm curious as to why they're all villains in the movie. Some professionals in the industry stepped forward and lamented. Old Wu watches a movie V. To be honest, it's no longer the era where good wine is not afraid of the dark alleys. Instead, even good wine is afraid of the dark alleys. I think the live stream publicity this time is worth learning from my peers in the industry. In the past, what's the traditional way of publicity for movies? How many replies can a post get? How many views can a trailer get? As for celebrities going offline for publicity, how many people can sit in a movie theater in a city? Do you understand what I mean? In the past, publicity was also effective, but the coverage was limited, and the coverage was limited. However, the live stream publicity has narrowed the gap between the movie and the audience for the first time. The director and lead actors will interact with you on the spot and talk about the heavy plot before showing you a live stream. The audience will casually buy tickets to support the movie. What a brilliant publicity technique. Yen Zhenhua was definitely the most intelligent director in the country. A friend took a screenshot of Old Wu's Weibo, and Yen Zhenhua was stunned. Since when was I smart? I was just thinking that it was time to eat so that everyone could have a meal together. No, Old Wu's right. This is the crystallization of my wisdom. Yen Zhenhua shamelessly finished reading Old Wu's comments on him and pretended to be humble. I'm not familiar with this Mr. Wu. I didn't expect him to give me such a high evaluation. It's so embarrassing. Too much, too much. Ha ha ha. Everyone, I don't think you're embarrassed. You're smiling so much that flowers are about to bloom on your face. Xiangyi smiled as she listened to director Yen brag. Before long, she received a video call from director Mu Si. She pressed the answer button. Mu Si couldn't wait any longer. Sister E, can we add a foodie stream to our martial arts live stream? No, we might as well eat the whole time. Yen Zhenhua was close. He heard everything clearly. He laughed and scolded, "You're smart." Mu Si replied in her not-so-fluent Chinese. No, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. It's because of Director Yan's wisdom and Sister E and Sure Sui's delicious food that I'm inspired. Yen Zhenhua was elated to hear her flattery. Hey, little brother, you're treating me like an outsider. Chapter 1068. Mu Si had mastered the art of bootlicking and chatted happily with Yen Zhenhua. The two of them even agreed to promote each other's movie. Everyone was speechless. Don't hit those who bootlicked. I've learned it. 2 days later, the live stream promotion for martial arts began. The first thing the audience saw when they clicked on the live stream was a huge hot pot. Mu Si smiled and said, "Everyone, let's chat while eating. Friends in front of the screen, let's enjoy the food together." The audience was speechless. "Enjoy my foot. We thought you and director Yen would do the same thing, chat before eating. I didn't expect you to be even more ruthless, chatting while eating. The takeout we ordered hasn't arrived yet." Mu Si boiled a few thin slices of mutton rolls. After scalding them for a while, he scooped them up and rolled them in the dipping sauce before stuffing them into his mouth. He squinted his eyes in enjoyment. After chewing the food, he said seriously, "I like Chinese food very much. So this time, we've added a lot of food elements into our movie." The audience was salivating. Cough. Tears were flowing out of their eyes as they slammed the table in anger. "You're just going to force it. This is too much." On the internet, whether it was the netizens or industry professionals, everyone was paying attention to the live stream promotion of martial arts. Luck might have played a role in the success of Night is Coming. After all, they were the first ones to try it. However, reality proved that the promotion of the live stream was really effective. The number of viewers in the live stream soon exceeded the peak of Night is Coming, and the pre-sales box office also kept breaking through. 200 million yuan, 300 million yuan, 500 million yuan. After an hour of live stream, the hot pot was not finished, and the plot was only the beginning. Just as everyone's appetite and curiosity were piqued, the live stream ended. The audience vomited blood in unison. You should have continued. This kind of feeling was akin to running into an unscrupulous author when he was reading a web novel serial. That feeling of being stuck between a rock and a hard place was too torturous. Everyone was looking forward to martial arts, so they bought tickets and planned to go to the cinema to check it out. After the live stream ended, the pre-sales box office stabilized at 3 billion yuan. That's right. It was even higher than director Yan's movie. Of course, this one. 3 billion yuan included the pre-sales data from overseas. All of a sudden, the live stream promotion method was favored by the film festival. All the major movies followed suit. Their advance ticket sales were not bad, but they were far from Night is Coming and martial arts. The first reason was the audience's trust in the director and the quality of the film. The second reason was the netizens all had their own opinions. Those who were dissatisfied, wake up. Are you as popular as Shi Sui and Xiangyi? Yeah, who would watch the live stream without Shiringdi and Sister Yi? Other people's food doesn't taste as good as Sister Yi's. Having Sister Yi at home is like having a treasure. Having Shi Sui at home is like having a dog's head. Are you trying to kill me with laughter? Ha 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 ha. The other movies scheduled for the Spring Festival were afraid that these two movies would take up too many slots, so they could only quietly build momentum through public opinion. For example, pre-sales were only pre-sales, and quality was the most important thing. Another example was that the greater the expectation, the greater the disappointment. There was bound to be a dark horse in the Spring Festival slot on New Year's Eve. The Xiang family didn't have a rule that prohibited their daughters and granddaughters from staying at home during the Spring Festival. Shi Sui didn't think that his son-in-law couldn't spend the Spring Festival at his daughter-in-law's house. At this moment, the entire family was reunited at the Xiang family's old residence. Xiangyi turned on her cell phone and prepared to book the movie for tomorrow. Chapter 1069. To their surprise, all the cinemas were full. They went to several different cinemas, but there were no exceptions. Xiangyi, who initially wanted to experience the fun with her family, had no choice but to book a VIP hall that was reserved for the entire family at a certain cinema owned by the Xiang family. That scene was repeated in many other places. Netizens were complaining on social media that they couldn't even buy movie tickets. In other words, only the movie tickets for Night is Coming and martial arts could not be bought. The ticket price for the two movies was about 30 yuan, while martial arts was about 50 yuan because it was a 3D film. Hence, the pricing was considered reasonable. However, the prices of the other movies had secretly increased. The netizens immediately began to complain in dissatisfaction. However, since it was the first day of the Lunar New Year, everyone wanted to watch a movie with their family. So be it if it was more expensive, at least they could watch it. Hence, the next day, on the first day of the Lunar New Year, the epidemic in Xi continent had long been resolved, and the streets were full of joy. There were lanterns and streamers everywhere, and there were crowds in the shopping malls and supermarkets. The cinemas were also full of people. As the first batch of audience members entered the cinema to check their tickets, there were also comments about the major movies on the internet. The comments basically showed the reputation of the major movies. Musi's martial arts incorporated a variety of elements from commercial films, such as action, suspense, racing, and food. The pace was fast, and there were plenty of laughs. There were no obvious flaws in the plot, and several details were handled very artistically. It could be considered a standard commercial film with a strong personal style. It had a good box office and a good reputation. The quality of Yan Zhenhua's Night is Coming had always been guaranteed, and this one was even more exciting. Although it was a bit of a cultural film, the director had a strong foundation, and the film was not incomprehensible. Instead, it looked more realistic than a commercial film. The box office sales gradually increased, and the film's reputation exploded. On the other hand, the other movies were criticized in terms of quality and acting skills. Apart from that, everyone was also paying attention to a piece of gossip. Xiangyi's family was watching a movie. Although it was a VIP cinema, there was still a distance from the shopping mall to the cinema. Many passers-by took photos. The whole family was extremely good-looking and close to each other. Hence, it instantly attracted countless comments from netizens. Xiang Yi and Madame Xiang are wearing matching outfits. How trendy! After Sister Yi finished her milk tea, she went to drink Sui's fruit tea. It's too sweet. Are you the idols of a boy band? Their legs are too long. Woo-woo. I've already seen little Anne hitting little uncle in the photos of different passers-by. Feng Feng is really pitiful, hhhh. In the theater, when Xiang Yi saw her face appear on the screen, she was still a little unaccustomed, especially when it came to the scene of her and Shui kissing. Xiang Yi felt as if she was sitting on pins and needles. She wished she could dig a hole and bury herself in it. Shui, on the other hand, was much calmer. She even rubbed the rabbit's earlobe and said in a low voice, "Tutu, your ears are so red." She didn't know if he was talking about the movie or reality. Xiang Yi, she stared at the screen and sighed. "You look so calm. You didn't even react to the kissing scene," Shui sneered silently. "How could there be no reaction, silly rabbit?" The movie ended. Xiang Yi was particularly embarrassed and didn't know how to face her family. Will I be reprimanded by Grandpa and Xiang Yi? She was most afraid of those two people. The others were fine. As for Xiang Yi, there was nothing to be afraid of.